What is going on, everybody? And welcome to episode number 80. It's a trap
It's
pod
trap.
episode of the Pre-Patch Podcast. We are once again down one of our comrades in crime. This time, the illness
He's
has
got the picture.
yeah,
He's got
we're
the
just gonna,
sad
you know what?
dog.
I was gonna try to find like a sick like computer, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, we're just gonna move this dog around. So this poor pup is just gonna get continuously moved around in a circle until we're all back where
That's
we need to
awesome.
be. But yeah, so unfortunately, Enigma is out, but he is with us in spirit. And don't worry, I shall bring the fury that Enigma would normally bring, which I guess that means I'm gonna argue with myself, which is fine. I do that on a daily basis anyway. So,
Yeah, it's normal.
but welcome in everybody. It is episode number 80, and it's gonna be a good show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got myself and Bill and Scruff here holding it down, and we've got new games to talk about. Obviously, Twitch and well, YouTube's actually stayed out of this one this week, but Twitch and Kick drama and
Surprisingly.
news. PlayStation's out there. We got Arc 2 stuff, CS:GO stuff. Ubisoft is making a comeback. It's a chock full of podcast. So a lot of great stuff to talk about, and super excited to be here. So yeah, how's everybody doing, by the way?
Oh, we doing, bud. We
Doing.
do be doing.
Yeah.
Getting there, still on the up from my sickness and everything. I'm still getting my voice back in full, but I like you. I'm coughing a bit too here and there. So.
Why are you putting my business out there? Like, you fucking own it, man. It's my
I
business to
do
talk
own
about
it.
if I'm
I
coughing.
do own it. You talked about it last podcast. I heard you. You put that out publicly.
I am well, honestly too. Like, I also actually, because you brought this up, I want to talk about this. Like, the ridiculousness that is Twitter, or now I guess, what is it called? X Corp? Like, that's what it's called now.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
is
X
that what
Corp,
it's called now? X Corp.
I think, yeah, or whatever. But the ridiculousness that is that, where I posted and said that I was sick, right? I was just like, hey, just want to let you know, like, I'm out with COVID, or whatever else. Because again, my job is literally on the internet, and dealing with people, but also too, like, yeah, we create, we have viewers that care and stuff like that. And then we get the guy, the audacity to come in there and be like, oh, thank God you're using Twitter to fucking, virtue signal because you're sick. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what
Out
is
of nowhere, bro?
What is wrong with people? Oh my gosh. It's so funny because like it happened in one of my videos too. Like, it was the Battlefield video that we were playing when we were playing Battlefield. Dude, somebody commented on my video. It was like, why do you suck so bad at this game? I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, okay. So,
I love the internet, man. There's always something. Just
I wanted to reply back so bad, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Talk about
I did reply back, just a little like snarky reply.
It's so
Yeah, man.
stupid. It's so
People
dumb.
are weird.
Yeah.
People get way too uppity about people they don't even know online.
Yeah.
So, did you see the person that did it? Did you see their
Yeah.
name? I really
saw it.
wonder. Like, I'm wondering. I'm like, is
I
that
know.
real? Like, I was just like, is this dude really still following me for like?
Yeah.
This is
Wait,
Bill.
did he
I
follow
don't.
you?
I don't know. I don't know
I
if
don't
this
know.
like Bill.
Like-
This is like your cadet. Just saying. Like, I don't know if I have
Could-
one that is just
Could be just a
following me
straggler.
around for no reason. So
Yeah.
Nah, man.
it's so crazy. The internet is a wild place. But you know what you can find on the internet is our podcast. You can go to anchor.fm/prepatch podcast, or you can go to Spotify, or you can go to YouTube, or we're live on Twitch. And
Trying to be
YouTube.
live on Twitch. I'm struggling with it right now.
It's all
Actually,
gravy. It's okay. It's Enigma is the one that usually handles our Twitch page. So, he's our Twitcher. We're our YouTube guys. So I'm just trying to figure out which one of us is going to go to Kick first and be the Kick person that's going to do it over there. So,
the kick guy.
Scruff's got a Kick look. He kind of looks like a
kick look.
like a
Hey, y'all
kicker.
motherfuckers,
What-
get a
what
kick.
is a
I'm
kick
kicking you
look
to the
now?
curb
Like-
myself.
What's a Kick look like?
Yeah,
Kind of, I don't know, like an Ohioan, I guess. Is that
like an Ohioan.
that's that?
I feel like more of them reside down in like the Florida, like the. I don't
That's
know.
just because
Maybe-
Florida's
maybe-
a lawless swampland.
and so is Kick. So I
That's
mean,
true. It's true.
it's-
It's pretty smuggy and nasty
Yeah.
and yeah. But anyway, guys, you can follow us on any of our different social platforms. You can also join our Discord if you ever want to be see what's going on and put news in there. And just kind of chat with us and keep up with us. Obviously, that is where we kind of start and stop our show. But yeah, join the community. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch and all the platforms. So, but if you are new here, we've got 79 episodes that we start every single episode off with talking about the YouTube news, Twitch news, Kick news. And this is no different. So we're going to move right into talking about Mr. Twitch. So pretty interesting here. I don't know if you guys saw this actually broke today. It was pretty wild, but there was an interview that the Twitch CEO did. And I apologize about the way this looks. This is not our fault. This is the website's fault. So this is from Dextaro. But I don't know why they have like it's
It's
off.
never our fault, by the way.
It's always
Never.
it's always
Never, ever.
it's always Dextero. No, I'm just kidding. It's but it really is this on this one. I'm literally just capturing the whole screen, so this is not like anyway. But this the Twitch CEO basically came out and said that they are revealing plans to lean away from the controversial pre-roll ads in the near future. So this is actually a pretty big W if they commit to it. What I will say is that when I saw this guy, I was like, dude, that looks, I swear to God, it looks like somebody that would sing like Willie Nelson, like like best
Yeah.
friend or something. Like I was
can
like,
see
there's
that.
there's no way this is the Twitch CEO, right? Like this is kind of crazy.
So this is the guy that replaced
is Dan
who's it?
Clancy.
Emmett Shear. He replaced
Yes.
the former Twitch CEO.
Correct.
And okay. And so now he's coming out with this kind of bang, like saying like they're gonna possibly be getting rid of pre-roll ads or looking to
So
remove them
it's-
or replace them.
It's
or something
yeah.
like
So
that.
basically, what they're talking about is the potential of removing pre-roll ads coming to the platform. So not
With
removing
more, but with more features, something to take its place. Almost it
Well,
made
so
it sound
the
like.
the thought here is that they're going to be basically be using the sponsorship stuff that they talked about
Right.
to kind of replace this, but also the bigger fear here is basically saying that okay, well, we're going to get rid of pre-roll ads, but does that mean that we're going to just like they're not just going to get rid of those ads, right? Like they're going those ads are going to be injected somewhere else, right? So it's
Right.
not going to just go away. They're absolutely going to put them, whether they be mid-roll or something of that nature. So
Yeah,
but
more mid-roll ads. So instead of 10, you'll get 20.
yeah, well, I mean, so the thing about it here, I think why I think this is a W is because honestly, like for me, when I'm, working or whatever else, like and I'm viewing Twitch, pre-roll ads are some of the most annoying things. Like you can get around
Yeah.
the mid-roll ads by subscribing, but pre-roll ads, when I walk into a stream and I literally click on it and I'm hit with 6 pre-roll ads, like I don't want to stick around. Like I
mean,
don't.
especially to a new viewer. I mean, pre-roll ads, I feel like, are one of the biggest deterrents for new viewers because, like, the retention span that you have to keep for a new viewer to actually stay is within that first like 5 to 10 seconds. Like, there's a statistic about it. But and then
Especially in the
pre-roll
new
ads,
TikTok age.
yeah, especially because everything's such like a fast pace, like short form trend. Everyone's just scrolling away. So I mean, it really is crucial. And if pre-roll ads were to go, I mean, it probably would increase retention span and maybe just more new viewage, new viewers watching streams and all.
Well, that's like on here. Like I do, I respect what he's saying because Dan Clancy, he has kind of come up through the space. He's been in the streaming game for a long time, not only in the inside of Twitch, but just in general. Like he's been a follower of kind of the live streaming platform. So, I commend him on this that he at least it feels like he has an understanding of it. Because just like in here where he's saying like basically it is detrimental to the user experience, right? And he thinks that the right experience, discovering new content has to be adapted and changed. So, I think that like that's a very good mentality to have, and that he's willing to at least get out there and talk about it in a way that's other than just like a TwitchCon, right? Like normally we would for us to get a CEO of Twitch to talk about it, it would have to be a TwitchCon, right? It would not be in a situation where he's going to hop onto a podcast, and talk. So I get very much this feeling of kind of like, is this a Phil Spencer of the Twitch world? Like, do we have a potential that, Twitch is now going to make that turn? Or is this just more puff and smoke kind of thing? So I don't know. but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, chat is going, it's a trap. So glad that title is getting used already. But I don't know. You guys have any other thoughts on this?
I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, it in theory sounds like a good thing. I just want to see like in actuality if it's gonna be good, if it's gonna come out and it's gonna actually change something.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Bill, any thoughts?
I mean, it is a good step in the right direction, but I don't know, man. It's a start.
Right.
Let's just put it
I
that
mean,
way.
it's
It's a
Twitch
start.
is Twitch has got a lot to
Yeah.
fix, right? This is,
Oh yeah.
it's not just that, but one of the things that we have kind of talked about is the value of Twitch, and they had an article that came out from Zach Busey, who, if I'm not mistaken, he is basically just a streamer that kind of follows the news and the creator and things of that nature. I don't think he actually works at Twitch. But he came out and basically showcased that well, tweeted this out. It came out obviously from the a news site, investing.com, but Twitch's worth is basically $45 billion, which is 4% of Amazon's total market cap. So we weren't wrong when saying that, like, Twitch was not holding a huge amount of money for Amazon, but the the thing that we did hit, and I think that whether it's bought off or sold off or siphoned off or whatever, is that basically there's a suggestion that Amazon should spin it off, at least 10% of Twitch as a separately traded public company. So to me, what that sounds like, and I don't know about you guys, but to me, that sounds like what we've been talking about is basically not devaluing it, but I think they want to get out from underneath it. I think Amazon kind of wants to like spin this off and essentially basically make it its own thing and then eventually kind of sell it off.
And before Elon buys it.
Oh man.
Yeah. Wait, you think Elon's
Right.
gonna buy it?
No.
Okay, I
No.
was gonna say, it's like, what is he gonna change the name to? Like, oh man.
I mean, Twitter's X Corp. What will Twitch be? Like, I don't even know.
It would be like Stream or something like that. Elon Stream, Musk something.
Oh god, ew.
Muskrat TV.
Oh, that's great.
Please no.
Yeah, that's great. But in any case, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's this is interesting. Again, I think this still points, like, I will count this as a podcast when we say, like, these all are signals pointing to Amazon getting out from underneath Twitch, right? And or over top of Twitch, I guess, actually, and wanting it to be its kind of own thing. And then I really do think that, like, there is a company out there that will pick Twitch up.
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
and I still think Microsoft is up there for potential buyers.
Oh yeah, I mean, at 45 billion, I think they're the only ones that could. Well, I mean, I guess PlayStation could afford it. I don't see.
Sony has no interest.
Yeah, I don't think that they would go
Yeah, I
into
don't see
that
that.
direction.
The only
I don't think
issue that
that's-
would
yeah.
happen if Twitch got bought out by Microsoft is they would not have a place for people to stream directly from consoles, which I don't know how many people stream directly from consoles anyway, but
it's not like a, I don't know. I
but
see it, but like,
it would
it's not
raise the
main.
level of it would raise the ceiling of entry for like PlayStation gamers if that was the case.
Yeah.
Unless Sony decided to play nice with Microsoft on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, especially in the age that, like, we've gotten to with hardware streaming.
I know 5 years ago was a big thing to stream straight from the console.
Well, that's
but
true.
I don't.
Definitely.
Well, I think a lot of it is because of the difficulty that it was to stream, right? Like, it was, so this made it an easy barrier to entry, where now, with the new graphics cards, NVENC, AV1, like, it's so much easier now to just dedicate, like, have a split rig or a single rig to do it. So I think, I don't know if they, like, obviously I think that they would implement it, but I don't know if that's what they would lean on. I think that Microsoft would kind of keep it outside of the Xbox world and kind of just say that this is, it's still Twitch, right? It's just Twitch owned by Microsoft. So
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting, but
It is.
The other side of the news that also came out, which, and this is kind of Kick news, right? But it involves Twitch, is Kick is burning money paying for Twitch's Amazon service. So I want to, because Enigma's not here and he would do this. He'd be like, I told you so.
I
Like,
was wondering if you do this.
that's the, yeah, that's so, yes, Enigma. I went back, I watched the video, I watched the VOD to make sure, right? Is that Enigma basically, he did say that they were streaming using Amazon services. I thought that he was saying that they were using their API, but he was correct. Like they are, and this is actually a shocker to me. Like it's a shocker that Twitch would allow it, but I guess at the same time, I guess Amazon doesn't really give a shit. Like I guess
It's more, yeah, it's like more on like Amazon, isn't it? More than Twitch almost.
I
Well,
think it just goes to show how little of a competitor Amazon sees Kick
Yeah.
as.
well, what's crazy to me is that when you look at the way that Twitch has come out and talked about Kick, they basically has said like we don't give a shit because at the end of the day, it's actually it's boosting us and saving us money because they're not going off and paying some of these content creators, and the amount of
Mhm.
money that they brought in actually doesn't outweigh what some of the contracts were. So, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, it's not I guess that big of a shocker. But
Right.
basically, it's saying here like one of the engineers, Cypress Hall, said that in short, Kick is subsidizing Twitch.
Cyrus, not Cypress.
Cyrus, sorry.
He in a tree.
Cyrus Hall basically said that Kick is subsidizing Twitch by paying to use Twitch video system via AWS. And there was another article that came out that basically, and we've said this from the get-go, that, or at least I definitely have said it, that Kick is, it's not a profitable company. Like Kick is not there to be profitable. It's there to advertise for Stake. Like Stake does not give a shit about Kick enough to try to make it a profitable business. They will do what they need to do to get, probably make this somewhat stable. But this is where I think the downfall of Kick will happen, is that they're not going to care enough about it because it's not a money making and a generating business for them to put enough time and effort to make it a viable platform. I think it's flashy and sexy right now, but what's the viability of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I don't think that their main plan is to grow their like streaming audience. They're just trying to grow it just for a sake of advertisement for their gambling site, their stake,
Right.
pretty much.
I mean, I think it does exactly what it's trying to do, right? It's trying to be flashy and whatever else, but
Coming out
well,
with like the 95 split right off the bat, like the low like entry level into like the subs and stuff. Like I like you said, like it's coming off very like strong, like with this flashy appearance. I think people are gonna start to realize like after a while, like, oh, maybe this site, doesn't care so much about its streamers. It doesn't care so much about us, like interested in it for for them.
well, a lot of the thing
Which
that's
yeah,
kind of crazy about this is like if you do go over there, like I've talked to some friends of mine that are over there and that are streaming. Bots don't work, right? Except for one.
hmm
Alerts are all over the place. They don't really work. Your the view count is completely fucked. And we
yeah.
talked about that last week, right?
Yeah, view count's fake
Oh,
as
did you
fuck.
talk about
Right.
that last week?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you could just tab people
Well,
pretty
Or
much,
not
or
or
tab
like
like the
people are double
individual
same.
counting.
viewers counting as like
Y-
double or triple counting.
Yeah,
That too.
yeah.
And then like follower count is not accurate.
They've got like the follow like infestation right now as well. Like Twitch as well, but they also have one of my buddies who was streaming over there was being follow botted just randomly when I went over there. I'm like, oh, that's a great sight to see. It's
I
nothing
mean,
new,
right.
but it's still
It's not anything new, but I think the
no.
problem is that when you look at where, and again, Justin TV had a lot of the same stuff. It had issues. I won't say it had a lot of the same issues. It had similar issues. It didn't have issues like this until later on, but it wasn't until later on when Twitch actually had things in place to try to stop this and made it a
Right.
more viable platform. Whereas like Kick, what it feels like is that it came out swinging with this idea of like, oh, it's this 95 5 split, and then that's it, right? But it wasn't cooked. Like it was like you got a raw in the middle doughy
Doughy.
substance. You know what I mean? And so it just wasn't a viable thing. And now it's like okay, well, you've gotten all these streamers to come over, and you know what? It reminds me of like Firefest, right? It reminds me of this
Yeah.
idea of like,
Yeah.
hey, come to our island, and we're so cool. We're gonna have all this stuff, but yet we've still yet to see them actually push this. And I don't know if Stake is going to take the time to do it, because it's not enough of a, like, if it's not making money, does a company really put effort into developing for these things?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so and it's even the simple stuff of just like their panels don't like aren't the right like size. Even if you go and view, like, unless you view in theater mode, they're like, the view of it is too big. So like the image of the video is larger than what your desktop view is. So you have to view it in theater mode,
Yeah.
because otherwise it doesn't look right. It distorts it. So it's very weird. It's very crazy. So um I don't know, but we'll see. Again, I don't think Kick is necessarily going anywhere. I just don't know if it's going to be a viable platform in the long haul. So, and if they're continuing to have to pay money to Twitch, Twitch will say, "Hey, yeah, fuck, do it all." Hey, look, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
We don't
man.
care.
Yeah.
So,
I still think to get any kind of real notoriety, they're gonna have to do something about their poster children.
oh,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
I think that's definitely what we've been saying. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's the the I went there today. I think I showed you guys. Like, there was a guy that was streaming the Mario movie. I mean, not to say that that doesn't
Yeah,
happen on other platforms, but like, it is quickly and swiftly dealt with.
Yeah.
Whereas, there it's,
it went through the whole movie.
yeah, they went to
Did
the
it
the,
go?
the
Never
whole
got
movie,
stopped.
and
Nice.
I went back and looked at his VODs, and it's literally uh he did Renfield, he did that one, he did D&D. I mean, he has basically just been sitting there pirating movies and watching them live on
And
Kick.
broadcasting them.
Yeah.
I've been
That's a
missing this.
lawsuit waiting to happen,
Oh,
not just for
absolutely.
him, but for the platform.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you know
So
how Nintendo be.
right.
Oh yeah.
So, and I do want to say, speaking of the Mario movie, I went to go see it yesterday. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Um
Yeah,
Did
I got
Jack Black carry?
I think the whole movie actually carried. I think it did. I
Yeah.
think it did a really
Did
good
pretty
job.
well.
here's one for you.
I was gonna say it was a movie that, if you're nostalgic and you like Nintendo, and like you played old school Nintendo and you like old school Nintendo, um, it does a great job. Like, it does perfect
Nice.
nods to fans. It's a good movie. I would say it's like a 7 or 8. Is it something that I would just be like, oh my god, I have to see it again over and over and over? No, but it's done well, and again, they do the nods to where you want them to be. So
Nice.
I do recommend going and seeing it.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. So on to what we've been playing. You guys mind if I go first? I want to do a little bit of a shocker.
Go ahead.
Which one? 3 or 4?
Yeah.
No, okay. I was gonna come with like 5 or 6 games this week, and I actually only have 3, and one of which Bill is also playing. So
Yeah.
fuck you
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
But I did say that I was going to come with something that was kind of a little bit of a shocker, and I'm gonna start off with that. So, yes, I played Meet Your Maker when the beta was out, and I actually was kind of, I don't want to say I poo pooed on it, but I definitely was kind of like
You're negative.
lukewarm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I was there
lukewarm
for
on it.
you, but I also like viewing it. I was like, I don't know. I was iffy as well.
It's so okay. Meet Your Maker. If you weren't here when I first talked about it, it basically is a maker game. It's like Mario Maker. It's like Mario Maker, and except it's way more violent.
Yeah.
I I thought this game was going to come out at a more expensive price point. It came out at $30. I I think it's worth $30. I'm actually enjoying it. I found the love for the game, which is basically just trying to really, get in here and get through the world, get best times. I'm not a builder fan. I could care less about actually building in it. But the premise of it is that you have to basically get into you have a guy, you're supposed to get through these like death rooms to find this gen mat and then get out. Um, and it's well done. I'm not gonna say there's no flaws with it, but it is well done, and I'm enjoying it. And the maps that are fun to play are very very fun. I've come across a few that are, you know, pretty obnoxious. This one in particular was a little bit obnoxious because it was kind of set up where like unless like you basically just have to like speed run through the whole thing and hope to God that you don't get hit, which is kind of annoying. But ones that are actually take the time to make a good map, like it's a lot of fun to play. Bill, I know you picked it up, I think too, right?
Yeah, me and Brett have both been playing it. I've had limited time on it, but I've been enjoying the game that uh, I've been enjoying what I have played of it. I haven't ran into any particularly stinky maps. I've talked to a few people in my community that have been playing it as well, and there are some that seem like they are like somewhat impossible to get through. Um, I know they have the little guy that walks around that's supposed to ensure that things are at least get toable. But it does seem like on that balance aspect, there might be a few things that they need to work on because I do believe there are a few things that are unwinnable from the
Is there
attacker's
like
side.
some traps or aspects that people are kind of like
Just
exploiting?
combinations that make it like extremely difficult, if not impossible, to grab the
Yeah,
mat and get out.
yeah,
Um, and this game doesn't have like it doesn't because with Mario Maker, you had to be able to run through your map to be able to post your map. This one doesn't force the player to do that. So
gotcha.
Which I
there's
think
just this
I think that'll
there's this
change.
little guy with a backpack that as long as he can get to the gen mat and get outside, then the game counts it as
Oh, is that what that
doable.
little guy is for?
Yeah.
See him
It's
walking
also to
around.
kind of like show you where the gen mat is so that if they built like a maze inside, if you can keep that guy alive, he'll lead you to the end point.
Yeah, I think they'll add that. Again, I think that the game released too early. Honestly, like I think like as a whole, like it's fun to play. I've gotten $30 worth of time out of it. It's one of these games where do I think that you could like create content around it solely? I think it would be tough, right? I think like as a streamer, it's fun to get in there and like maybe do like public games or like community game nights and something like that with it, or whatever else. Do I think it's something that you could just sit there and really make content over and over and over again? That I think is hard, but
Yeah, I mean, like it'll have the plethora, like amount of like content and maps, but I just feel like it'll get dry after the while. Like, because I feel like it'll end up being the same patterns that you see and like
well,
exploits that people
yeah,
are using until like they update it and add more content.
that's the biggest thing. I think one of the issues with the little guy, right, is that all of the maps have to be done on basically some type of slope, right? So he has to be or like flat surface. Your guy can't when you're developing a
He
map like
can't
you
jump, he can't
right, he
climb
can't
walls.
right, and he has to be able to finish the level. And I get the point of that because it's their attempt to be able to say like, oh, the level has to be completable. But the problem is like there's no like jump pads. So it really kind of starts to hone down what you can do. Also because like in Mario Maker, you can really fuck with like the physics and all of those kind of things. And in this, there's really not you're not messing with any of that kind of stuff. Like you can have like these walls that disappear. You can have kind of like trap areas or secret areas, but all in all, at a certain point, you're gonna see kind of everything that can be thrown at you, and I don't know. It does limit it in a way. What I like about this, and I think is fun about this versus like Mario, is because of the first person aspect, the fact that you can destroy the traps. It definitely makes it there's an enjoyable element to it. Um, I do think that their color palettes and like the way that like only certain blocks can be certain things. So like hideaway blocks are or breakaway blocks, like the ones that are that go invisible and come back, they're only one type. So like they stick out like a sore thumb. So like you unless you make the entire build around it, you're gonna know that that's a hideaway block. So again, I think that for $30, I've gotten my enjoyment out of it and I'm having fun with it. I just think that it's still premature. I think they probably should let the game bake a little and then actually kind of bring it out.
I think it's fine for what it is. I think knowing behavior and all that stuff, I think they will definitely keep up with updating it and adding new stuff. It's got a lot of potential. Right now I think $30 is a fine price point for it, and I'm sure they will monetize the hell out of it like they do DBD. But I've been enjoying it a lot. It runs great on the Steam Deck, by the way, which I do have.
Yeah. Did you have any issues with the like the sensitivity? Because I had to tweak that sensitivity like crazy to get it to where it ran like functional on my
Nah,
Steam Deck.
nah, it booted it up raw and it ran fine. I had to tweak frames a little bit because it was running a little framey, but as far as like controls and stuff go, it ran like a dream.
I mean,
Which I was surprised because it has anti-cheat in it, so I wasn't sure how that would play with the with Linux.
I
But
mean, yeah, it ran fine. I had like my sensitivity, like which I've heard like the dead zones, and I've heard the same thing on consoles. I think the dead zones is kind of crazy, and has to be tweaked quite a
speaking
bit.
of consoles, this is free on PlayStation Plus right now for the month of April.
Oh
So
wow,
Yeah,
they released it as the free to play game for the month. So as long as you download it on PlayStation, you have it forever.
yeah,
kind of cool.
it's
If
definitely
you have
it's worth it.
PlayStation Plus.
It's worth that. I mean, for sure. I mean, I think it's yeah, I agree. I think it's worth like I think it's worth the $30. If they were to release at 60, I think it would, or anything above 30, I think it would have been too much. I think
Yeah,
30 is the
yeah,
right price point.
I agree. And I am looking forward to seeing what they add to it because I think it has a lot of potential, and I hope it doesn't become something that just kind of gets abandoned. Which
I feel like this game would probably make me mad if I played it though.
oh, you'd be
Oh, for
pissed.
sure.
Yeah, because like I wouldn't want the map, maker to get the better of me. I'd be running some of the same thing for like hours if I couldn't get it.
You want to know something that would piss you off even more? The map maker sees exactly how many times you died to it, and I
Yeah, I
think
figured that
if
too.
they haven't
Yeah,
added it yet, they're going to add it eventually. A way for them to replay people
yeah.
running through their map to like
I was
watch them
wondering if they were
suffer.
gonna have that too.
It
Yeah,
shows exactly how many times you've died. It shows the places that you died.
Which I
yeah.
think
And
Because
they're
that's
just
how they
laughing.
that's how
They're
they
just
go and grab
laughing
your
behind there.
yeah, that's how they go and grab your loot is they go into the map and just
And
scoop.
collect your scraps.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
do they? Is that how that works? Because I haven't done the building side of it. So
Yep.
they
So,
so go ahead.
good. You go ahead.
Well, so
You go ahead.
so every time that I died, like I've died. I mean, you're seeing me run this map quite a bit, trying to figure
Yeah.
this out. Every time
We've
I've
done a lot
died,
here.
I've been dropping mats that they will go and pick up.
Yep, sure have.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, it doesn't take mats away from you, but they
Right.
get mats as well. Also, depending on how long it takes you to finish the base, the more cycles Little Man makes it through, they also get mats from doing that.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
cool.
kind of a do you want to screw over the map maker by killing Little Man, or do you want to use Little Man to like show you where
So
the
that's the
end's
purpose.
at?
I wondered
Gotcha.
what the purpose of that was because I was like, dude, what? Like I can kill him.
It's a twofold thing. Yeah, you can either kill him or he can die from traps. But the more cycles he makes it through, the more materials that they gather actively, and
Huh.
then or well passively, and then actively from you dying. So it's there's
So
multiple ways for the creators to get
they're just like
materials.
it's just like a farm for them.
Yep, that's all these are. They're
Yeah.
mat farms.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that's a cool concept. I would like to see them, like you said, again. I think that the narrative of this is, I want to see behavior expand on this. Like we want to see them continue to expand more and more because again, I agree, Bill. Like I think there's a lot they could do with it. I think that having that element where it's like almost kind of like a faction based thing where like all the people that are running these things are like earning points that they can use to boost like a
I have
faction.
a feeling that eventually they will split off Raider versus base builder into two separate groups and have like two different generation types for them that
Right.
will in turn uh buff like they'll be able to buy stuff for that particular play style because I'm sure there's going to be people that play this game and they don't want to build bases like you,
Me, yeah.
but I'm sure there's going to be people on the other side of things that don't want to run gauntlets. They just
Yeah.
want to build and
I mean,
make
it's just
the
like
most
DBD. There's just like people who like only want to play Survivor or only want to play Killer.
yeah
So they
exactly.
cater for both audiences.
I will
Yep.
say on the DBD side too, like I really love, if you've noticed and you're a fan of DBD, there's nods to DBD in this game, which are really cool. Like you saw like on one
Stickers,
of the
scratch marks.
yeah, on one of the
There,
walls
that's
there were
cool.
scratch marks, and then on another map I ran there was some stickers.
Didn't
That
they just release a killer in DBD that was supposed to be like a meet your maker type killer? Or am I crazy?
She's the skull taker. I don't think she was meant to be like Meet Your Maker
Oh,
themed
okay. I thought I
specifically, but
heard something
I
that she
could
was like,
understand where somebody would make that comparison.
maybe, yeah.
I could
Okay,
see where they
that's
would
what I
do a
thought.
crossover like that. I think they could do a crossover
I
with
think
like
they could, yeah.
Oh, I think they
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
A
So
100%.
again, I think it's. I will say I prejudged the game off the beta.
And
And
you just love getting wrecked by that pressure.
dude, it's this thing has been this one like frustrated the shit out of me. But again, that's the like you said, Scruff. That's the driving fact. It's just
Yeah.
like, God damn it, like I'm better than this.
Yeah. You want to
and
beat the
you
maker.
have to beat it. Whereas like with Mario, I didn't because I was just like, dude, I can't. I don't want to make pixel perfect jumps, even though you're essentially doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of fight back against it, you're kind of like, all right, I've got,
Yeah.
I have a shot. Whereas with Mario, it's just like, you got to know the jumps perfect and fucking time. And I'm like, this is not my thing. So, it's fun. I enjoy the game, but yes, you are paying to be frustrated to shit essentially. So, um, yeah, so that's Meet Your Maker, again, free on PlayStation Plus, or $30 on Steam. I think I don't think it's available. Well, I mean, it's available on consoles too, but I think it's Steam wise. I think that's it. I don't think it's on Epic or anything like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and
um,
it's only for the month of April, so if you have any interest in picking this up on PlayStation, please do that before April ends.
yeah, no reason not to. All right. So the other two games that I have played and tried were very similar. So this one is Dome Keeper. Dome Keeper actually came out last year, but it was it didn't pop up on my radar until actually the other game that I'm going to talk about came out. So I picked it up, both of these together, and Dome Keeper essentially is imagine like a tower defense game, but involving mining, right? And procedurally generated mines. So your job is to basically go and gather these materials in this mine, and you have to use those materials to upgrade your dome, which you're seeing here. With like radar or faster drilling or different like better weapons, all this kind of stuff to fend off an oncoming horde that happens at different increments in time. So you fend off the horde, you go back down into the mine, you mine more stuff, bring it back up, you get resources. There's different abilities that you'll unlock. There's different there's a guy called Drillbert that they just added, which is this little dinosaur with the drill on his nose that
So-
you will drop into the mine that will mine for you. And it's essentially a race against time kind of situation where you're mining to get resources but you have to get back up to demand the guns to be able to defend yourself. The game is meant to be played on brutal mode, so just as an FYI, it's meant to be very difficult, and it starts off pretty easy and gets very hard very quick. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of it. Like what you're seeing is the whole entire gameplay loop. It's fun. Like I enjoyed it. It's $15. I think right now on Steam. I think normally it may be 20. But I don't quote me. I know it's 15 right now on Steam. But you're seeing there's the kind of the horde that's coming is the guys attacking my shell, and they have different like variations. They have like flying ones, they have little like frog jumpers that'll explode when they hit you. They'll have these guys that'll just like crack your dome. Then there's like boss fights that'll happen. I mean, so but this is the loop, and you have three different kind of resources that you are needing to keep up with, which is like your normal copper kind of resource, then you have like cobalt, and then you have granite, I think. And that's how like each one has certain things. So like if you look on here, one of the upgrades requires like a cobalt, the other ones require the regular stone, and the other ones require granite. So you have to have each one of enough to be able to upgrade. The downside I'll say to this, especially when you see the next game that I showcase, which is Wall World, is that the RNG
Wall World, what a dumb name.
it's,
Yeah.
You'll understand why it's called Wall World, but
It's made by Donald Trump.
yes. So it's the the roguelike element of this is the mine itself. It's not as much the loop, right? So like in most roguelike games, you have that ongoing loop where you're like, you're dying to progress to get more stuff so that you can go farther in your run. Where this one, it's not that. Like you're basically you when you die you can take one of your abilities with you, like one of your guys with you. For instance, like I just got a bomb on this one. You could say I want the bomb or I want drillbert or whatever else, as long as you've acquired them. But that's about
You
it.
keep saying Drillbur. I keep thinking of Cubert, the little
Well,
orange dude.
Keyword or dilbert, it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
But the only thing
Better
that you're
than the
really
alternatives.
the only thing that you're really unlocking here is that they do offer for a bigger map or a bigger mine, and then they have you can get a new dome and you can get a new character, but that's it. And so
Is it early access or is it full release?
I believe it's full release. You'll have to if you want to check. Sorry, I would, but all my screens are
This is
used up
called
at the
Dome
moment.
World.
Dome Keeper.
Oh.
So, I believe it's full release.
Looks like it's full release. It
Yeah,
doesn't say anything about early access.
I don't think it's early access. So that's Dome Keeper. I don't know if you guys have any questions about Dome Keeper before I move to Wall World.
$17.99.
17 is the full price, but it's on sale right now for 15, right?
No,
Or
it's $18 at full.
Okay, so it just went. It was on sale at the time of so yesterday it was on sale. So, the better oh, good. Do you have a question? Oh, I thought you were going to ask a question about it.
I think I just like kind of coughed a little
Okay.
bit.
The better version of this game, in my opinion, is this. This is Wall World. So Wall World, you'll see a lot of similarities here as you are upgrading your spider, right? Which is basically your dome on legs. And the reason it's called Wall World is because literally the game is completely up and down. It's a vertical game. Your mine is horizontal, but you are traversing a vertical wall.
Is this made by the same people?
Nope, made by completely different
This
team.
looks like the same thing, just vertical. Like,
Yeah, somebody's got a lawsuit on their hands. Holy.
yeah. Wait.
So the crazy thing about this is that Wall World, again, from a roguelike element, you're actually like, as you're going in here, you're mining and you're getting, again, resources, all of that same
Somebody
stuff.
has a lawsuit. Holy dude.
Dude.
But you are upgrading your when you die, you take some of the resources to then upgrade your spider so that you can go farther in the game. So a true roguelike element to it. But yeah, like you're you're moving whenever I get through this tutorial, it's talking about shooting. You're literally going to see like I'm going to move I'm going to hop in my ship, I'm going to move my cannon across my dome, and then I'm going to shoot at these, or my spider, and shoot at these enemies. Yeah, it's
So both of them you mine, both of them you bring materials back to your ship, and both of them are tower defenses.
yes.
Well, one is up and down, and one is like
One is vertical, one
Go
is
down.
stationary. Yeah, you go down.
y-
But this one does have what I have found is this one has, in my opinion, more depth. There's a lot more like you get these upgrades, like you'll be able to build one of the things I got was I could build a turret on an empty mine. So as long as there's not another structure, I could build a turret on it. But I mean, essentially, if you look at it, like legitimately, like Wall World pulled, like they saw Dome Keeper and
I'm
were
glad
like,
you're
"Yo,
bringing this up, Sin. I feel like you've uncovered like another dark and darker situation here. I
Yeah,
think
what the hell is
we might
going
have
on
another
here?
lawsuit on our hands.
I mean,
These indie devs need
Found
to
here
stop
on the
stealing from
Pre-Patch
each other.
podcast.
I mean, I will say that like Wall World plays differently because of the spider element. I don't.
Because you move.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, like it's yes, like it is literally
It's not
because you
stationary.
move.
That's
But that's and other than that, and the roguelike element,
Wow.
That's about it.
This
Like,
is the same game, dude.
like it's
So you came to the podcast with only 2 games actually today.
I mean, it is
That's
what it is.
that's pretty good for you.
I will say I'm having a lot more fun with Wall World than I am with Dome Keeper. And you want to know the kicker, right? Is that Wall World is $5.
Wow.
Like
So-
it's on sale for $4.79.
and they're undercutting Dome Keeper. or
Yeah.
what-
Which came out first?
Dome Keeper came out first.
a year ago.
Dome Keeper came out in September. This came out in a couple days ago.
Okay.
This month, April 5th, 2023.
Okay.
So, and if you look at all the comments, it's like, oh, this is just a better version of Dome Keeper. This is just a better version of Dome Keeper. Like, this is just Dome Keeper. And it's like,
I feel bad for the Dome Keeper devs, dude, if they got fucking bamboozled like this. And,
yeah,
it's
It's-
100% not the same dev team, right?
Quickly catching up in
it is-
reviews too.
it is not the same dev team. Completely different dev team.
Okay.
So
This
Developer of
some
Dome
feels
Keeper is
bad about this, man.
Pippin Bits. Developer of Wall World is Alawar Premium. Completely different devs.
Yep.
Self-published. This is too.
Okay. Well,
So I don't know how long it'll be on the marketplace. I'm just saying it might be worth a
Yeah.
pickup, but
Yeah,
it's
buy it while it's on there.
it's a lot of
Yes.
fun. The game, I mean, I can't argue that this game is a lot of fun. You trying to think. You don't have that I've seen. They don't have the ability because like Wall World or Dome Keeper has it where it's like it'll tell you when the next wave is coming. This one doesn't have that, except the timer up top is not when the next wave's coming. It's when the boss fight's about to happen. Wall World.
so you can
or
just come
Dome-
back to your ship and have little birds all over it.
It'll still. So it'll make the same. I swear to God, the same
my God.
noise. Like it
Oh
will
my-
literally go, "Bwah, bwah, bwah, bwah," which is the same noise that happens in Dome Keeper.
Of
Maybe
course.
one's like it's maybe like a little bit like the Vanilla Ice
Dun, dun, dun,
Queen,
dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
Queen, yeah,
You
right.
just gotta
It's
have
like,
the
no, no,
hi-hat
no.
symbol in there, and
no,
it's different.
yeah, right. We just add that. No, mine's dun 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 dun. Yours is dun 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 dun. Like so, it's just, yeah. So anyway.
This review, Dome Keeper, make it vertical, and the dome is a
It's-
spider.
that
That's
is
it.
literally it. So
Wow, man.
Okay. Okay.
so yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
but that's it. Those are the 2 games I've been playing, or 3 games I've been playing. So
Nice.
yeah,
Those, yeah.
That's
Okay.
entertaining.
there you go. I mean, honestly, again, it's fun, but I would have to say buy. I don't know. Where do you land? Do you want to support the original devs or do you want to support the ripoff? But
Yeah.
I prefer the ripoff.
Innocent until proven guilty, but this is some sussy baka behavior.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Dark and Darker, can you move your
Get him
mouse?
back up
Just
here.
seriously, can you just
I
like
gotta
move your
keep
mouse
doing
every once
that.
in a
I gotta keep moving my mouse around.
while? Almighty.
get booted.
You know that Dark and Darker is saying that they're gonna have their playtest. Like, I think it's tomorrow, if I'm not
Still?
mistaken. Yeah,
Wow, that's surprising.
How are they gonna have a playtest when it's not on Steam?
I don't know. I have no idea. But they are literally like, big news coming tomorrow. Hold the line, and they're teasing playtest. People are like losing their shit thinking that the playtest is gonna be tomorrow.
Hmm.
So
Okay, cool.
don't know, but yeah. So anyway, well, moving on to the news section. So one of the things that we've been adamant about talking about is the no, I will not accept your cookies. Go away. Is the whole Microsoft Activision kind of buyout, right? And there's a rumor, we've talked about, is this going to affect, more buyouts? We see more potential buyouts. So we think that Sony is going to kind of fire back. And this is obviously a rumor. Nothing is 100% true. This is from Gamer Official.
Or is it?
I mean, yeah, it very well could be. I mean, rumors are what is it? What's the line? It's like rumors are built out of half truths and whole lies or some shit or whatever.
Wait, what site is this? Is this Game Official or is this Gamer
Gamer
Fickle?
Official.
Official?
Oh,
Just want to make sure
Gamer
we're
Fickle.
getting the gamer, the title right.
Yes, it's Gamer Official, but anyway, is that it's rumored that PlayStation could acquire Rockstar. Um,
Which is interesting because we on this podcast for the past like couple months have been saying that Square Enix seemed like the most likely buyout. But
yeah, I
So
mean,
wait, is this to acquire just Rockstar or Take Two
just
in whole?
Rockstar.
Okay, so just the subsidiary or whatever of Take Two of Rockstar, pretty much.
Right.
let's see. As I don't know, this is saying
Because the guy
among
was
them is
saying
this is saying Take Two. I think this is saying that
that's
they're
Take Two as a whole.
to
that's what
buy
I
Take
thought I
Two
read.
Interactive. Yeah.
That's the rumor. Like this is
Interesting.
all rumors. Like nothing has been
I mean,
confirmed.
this person here, lumberjackery. These guys, that Twitter names, man, is saying that he has it on extremely good authority that if Microsoft acquires Activision Blizzard,
Yeah.
but again,
But
this
but
is
who is this guy? I
right.
don't even know this.
This is the world of the internet. Like anybody could say anything. So,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying, like it doesn't surprise me if this were to happen. Like we expect a merger will take place, but yeah, like Bill
Yeah.
said, I mean, we thought it was going to be Square, right? Like
Yeah, because Square fits more into the ballpark. There's a leak that Sony was allowing $10 billion for acquisitions in the year 2023, which Square Enix is a 7 point something billion-dollar company. That one fell more into the ballpark. If it's Rockstar by itself, that makes sense because they're 3 to 5 billion.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is
Take
saying
Two
here
as a
Take
whole is
Two.
a $20 billion
Yeah.
net worth, which
so.
is
Let's
it seems a bit out of Sony's ballpark considering Sony's net worth is only like 109 billion. So that's a big chunk ski. Although
let, let,
Sony's net worth has went up since we last talked about this kind of thing.
let's play devil's or not devil's advocate. Let's play theory crafting here, right?
Okay.
What so act we I mean, I think we can all agree that the Activision merger is
It's happening.
it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
happen.
pretty well
right?
locked
Like,
and
It's
loaded.
it's gonna go. So as Sony, do you, if you are Sony, like, so,
Yeah.
you put yourself in, well, let's not say Jim Ryan's because I don't know how much longer he's going to be at the fucking company, but you put yourself in Sony's place. Do you go after what's more profitable to you, Square or going after Take
Rocks
Two?
I think
Rockstar and Take Two 100% just
Yeah.
because GTA 5 and upcoming GTA 6 is
Yeah.
it's just going to print money for them, which their biggest reason for fighting so hard for Call of Duty was they needed Call of Duty third-party profits to be able to fund their first-party games.
Not to mention also, I mean, Take Two, and we're talking Take Two here, also has, I think, stake in 2K,
Yeah,
like the
it's
2K games, and that's also big.
Yeah, man. So
2K like
Rockstar,
sports games like are huge,
especially in the microtransactions, this isn't
especially
going to
in
be something where they're going to be
microtransactions.
capitalizing. Well, I guess with the 2K games, they would be yearly releases, but it would just be a money printer for
Yeah.
first party games if they went this this route. It makes more sense than what Square was, especially with Square's track record so far this year. They are looking promising coming up with Final Fantasy 16, but um, it's not something where they would be able to profit as much as they would with Take Two.
Right.
Also, I think it was last year sometime we were talking about Sony and the fact that they were wanting to actively find a way to reach Western audiences more successfully. This would be a very good way to do that because I know that they were saying that they struggled in a Western market.
do we see them going exclusive with with this? Do we then see, like, would they pull the trigger to say, okay, we just argued about all of this exclusivity, but now GTA is locked to
GTA, I'd imagine
to
maybe
PlayStation.
GTA 6,
I don't know, man. That
maybe.
that they would have to weigh it. I would hope they would weigh it critically and make a business decision not to because I even if they do make it exclusive to PlayStation and got the increase in sales, like people buying PlayStations just for GTA 6 and having like all of those profits go straight to Sony, I still think cutting out the Xbox market from GTA would it wouldn't make sense business wise, in my opinion.
Yeah, but this
I
is
think they would
Sony
be
we're
cutting off
talking about.
a big demographic. Plus, if Call of Duty is going to be Xbox owned and be on PlayStations, it would give them at that point a bargaining chip to keep Xbox honest with whatever they're doing with PlayStation, uh, or Call of Duty on PlayStation.
My wonder, I think the one thing that would make them not go exclusive, and the only thing that would make them not go exclusive, I don't think that it has anything to do with Activision. I don't think the call like I think that they would look at that, but they don't give a shit. Honestly, like I think they're too prideful in that matter. I
Oh
think it's because of the RP scene. Like if they go exclusive to Sony, the PlayStation platform, and they don't allow it to be on on
yeah, at least
on
PC.
PC, right? I like to me, I think that is the huge like deterrent there because it's like, no, we've got to like we just have to open it up. Like we have to be allow it to be an open platform because we need the RP scene to be picked up because the RP scene legitimately you can argue yes the GTA 5 has an online community that spends a lot of money and they do, but the RP scene has kept that game alive
Yeah,
way longer than it should have. In my
For
opinion.
sure. I
I
mean, this
agree.
is a game that's transcended 2 console generations, so
Well, Enigma, though, is not here personally. He is here in spirit and typing in chat. He's saying that Take Two, and Rockstar hate the modding scene. You're not wrong, but I can tell you right now that there is, if they hated it enough to not see, and they didn't see the value in the RP scene, they would shut that shit down. Like they would go to No
Yeah,
Pixel tomorrow and shut it down. They're not going to. Like they
right.
know that boost and bolster sales like to no end. So, because every single time that NoPixel does an update, which they're about to do a new update, right? Their sales skyrocket. I mean, just absolutely skyrocket. So yes, they hate modders, but they don't hate them enough to shut that down.
No.
So um,
But no, this I think this would be the answer to Sony's problem of where do they get third party funds for first party games,
so you're
more
saying that
so than what Square Enix would be.
okay, so that's what I say. You're saying that that
I still think Square Enix is going to get bought by somebody. I genuinely thought it was going to be Sony, and it could still
it could
be
still.
Sony,
Yeah,
especially since Square Enix just bought out an entire PlayStation Sony State of Play just to show off Final Fantasy 16. Um, it could still very well be happening,
I mean that's
but
true, but I think there's arguments on both sides of which, like, so Sony buys Rockstar to get the Western audience, Microsoft buys Square to get the Eastern audience, right? Like, there's an argument that could be said on that end to say, hey, we need the Eastern side, like, we need
yeah,
our JRPGs, or I'm sorry, RPGs,
yeah.
uh,
Careful.
so I could see them making a play for that. I would say that if it came down to it, though, I think Microsoft would probably jump in to buy Rockstar before they would jump in to buy Square. I think I don't think
I do think that them if they tried to make a move to buy Take Two and Rockstar, I don't think that one would go through. I think the EU would put their foot down on that. I think this is the last major purchase, at least for this year, that Microsoft's going to be able to get away with without having a lot more backlash.
you don't think
Yeah,
Ubisoft is in play because we've got Ubisoft news that speaks a little differently.
That's not really news to that regard because it's been on PlayStation for a while, the Ubisoft Plus thing.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, there you go. I mean, so here's the
yeah.
rumor. As like I said, is
It's
that
all rumors, but we'll
it's
see.
it's what comes of it. We will I at some point see. I mean, it's the ball is really like I agree with you. I think the ball is in PlayStation's court right now, Bill. I don't see Microsoft being able to make a play for another company that is of a large stature. I think that they could go for something small, right? I think some indie
Yeah,
games, developers, and stuff like
Maybe
that.
Wall World, maybe a Dome Keeper.
right.
Oh, that'd be great. So, but yeah,
Sony gets Dome Keeper. Xbox buys Wall World.
yeah.
right. So that's the PlayStation side of it. Last week we talked about Arc 2, and if you are unfamiliar with what we talked about or missed last week's episode, basically there's a whole big thing that came out that Arc was I mean, let's just be honest. Arc was being a bunch of dicks.
And
And
still are.
oh yeah, no, this doesn't fix it, right? But they basically were saying like to get Arc. What was it wasn't is it Survival Evolved? Was that the
Ascended.
Survival? I don't. God, dude, this is how
Survival-
fucking confusing it is.
Is
So
that the second one?
no,
That's the HD upgrade to traditional
Oh,
Arc.
I
The
forgot they were
Survival
even
Ascended.
doing that.
yeah. So the Survival Ascended was the test portion that they were basically saying the only way to get it was by buying Arc 2, and you would get Arc
Survival Ascended for free.
for free.
Yeah.
But it was a way for them to develop for Arc 2 because that's what Arc Survival Ascended was using, but they were shutting down the official servers for Arc Survival Evolved so they could put them in Arc Survival Ascended.
Oh my
Right.
god.
Dude, it's anyway. So they then came out because shocker, people were pissed and was like, "Yo, no, this should be free." And so after complaints about free Arc Survival Evolve upgrade being sold in a $50 bundle with Arc 2, now it's a DLC bundle for $60.
60
So
for
so-
$10 more.
So all that they did was instead of just being like, "Hey, we're gonna give you guys like again the easiest win in the world," is just like we're gonna give you guys this for free. Like you can just
Yeah.
have it, right? They're like, "No, we're gonna make it so that you have to pay for it in a DLC bundle." And you know,
We get
actually,
$10 more out of you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
want to see. Let me see something because I want to see. Does this? Are they saying that you get all the expansions plus this, or is it just a flat? If you want to upgrade and get the remaster, it's gonna be $60. So Survival Ascended will have new creatures, item structures.
You'll get several DLC upgrades without additional cost for this bundle. Yes, so it will come with any upgrades that they do to Survival Ascended for free.
But
You
still at
passed
that
it already.
$10
Yeah, no,
upcharge.
I'm just kind of sitting here looking at this. Like, yeah, I agree with people in chat. They're basically saying that somehow this feels like worse.
It
In a
does.
way,
It's
Yeah.
$10 more,
Like-
and people. It's
And you don't
it's
you don't
a
get
weird
wait, do you get
move,
R2
man.
with this or you don't get R2 with this?
You
no,
do not
you
get
do not get
R2 with
R2.
this.
So this bundle is now for the Ascended plus DLC.
Yeah, because what they were gonna do
Or
is
it's
they
not
were
even a
going to
bundle,
bundle
it's a
the base.
DLC.
They were gonna bundle base Ascended with Arc 2, and then make you pay for DLCs for Ascended as they came out. Now they're bundling all the DLCs and Ascended together and separated it from
Yeah.
Arc 2. So
And now you're gonna have to buy R2 for a full probably 60.
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh man. Here's
I mean, we don't know what they were planning on charging the DLCs for, so it'll probably even out to be more or less the same. But as of right now, it's $10 more for the same fucking thing,
for a
Yeah.
graphic upgrade. Like that is what you're
Yeah.
getting. It's a graphic upgrade.
and less content because they still haven't got all the DLCs moved over to Ascended yet. So
What like the thing about it is, and here's the kicker, right? Just listen to this line. Explaining how it arrived at this decision, Studio Wildcard said, "When we had first considered doing an Unreal 5 upgrade, we planned to just port it to the Switch version of the game and undo the graphical limitations required for that hardware. We weren't going to maximize the potential of the new technology. We weren't going to introduce new gameplay changes, and we weren't going to make critical design changes that would have an impact on our existing save data." So you're literally being like, I mean, we were going to do it for free and just port it over, but now we'd rather just fuck you and get $60. Like, holy
Dude.
shit.
but it will have new creatures, items, and structures, and
Ooh.
other new content that was not available in the original game.
I get
What
wild.
Eventually.
What happens to the people that already own like so this is the DLC though for Arc Survival Evolved, right? That you're getting with
No,
this package.
it's not.
This is
It's new DLC for
It's
Arc
not even- it's not-
Survival.
It's
Ascended.
it's defamatory to call it DLC. This is a brand new fucking up-res remastered version of this game that has less DLC than
Right.
what we currently have. Because I want to make sure it's understood that whenever you do Game of the Year editions or up-reses like this, like they did with CD Projekt Red did with Witcher, you get all of the content. This
But what I'm trying to
is
understand is like,
not
are
that.
they just porting the DLC from the first game into this and
We don't
charging
know.
for all of that up-resed DLC again?
We don't know.
We do not know.
You don't know that? Okay.
So we don't know what
Because
all
I'm just
DLC
like the
is
people
coming
that
with it.
have already bought this, maybe have bought this DLC, if that's what they're using from the first game, are just having to buy an up-res
Oh,
version of that
you'll
DLC
definitely
again.
have to buy it again. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Not in this current situation. So let's backtrack. In the original deal, you would have had to buy it again. In this new deal, for the $60, you will get the DLCs in the bundle,
But whatever. But again,
but
to
you still have to
specify,
buy it all again.
but we also
right,
don't know what DLCs they're bringing over. Like
right.
you are basically hedging your bet, saying that you're trusting Studio Wildcard
Which is a bad
to
move.
right
Yeah,
to essentially
first
say
mistake.
you're gonna get you're spending $60 and you're gonna get all the content that we had in the original arc. We're just gonna get it here.
Eventually.
Right.
Eventually,
I
yeah.
call bullshit, and I bet that they bring over maybe 2 or 3 DLCs because that's all that they want to do. And then they're going to make Arc, and then Arc 2 is going to come because there's no way that they are going to bring all of those DLCs over. Spend the time doing that versus spending the time working on Arc
You know
2.
what I think happened? I think they are running low on development funds for Arc 2, and they
Yeah.
needed a quick cash grab to be able to finish the game.
I think 100% is what that
Fucking
is.
Vin Diesel. It was too much.
Vin
Yeah,
Diesel's
he
way
costs
too
too much.
expensive as a poster. Plus that dude's loco.
Yeah.
He's probably charging an absurd amount just for his likeness.
So it's yeah. So I just want to make sure I'm going through. Yeah, it's yeah. So see, like we don't know what it is, and here's the other.
Explorers Pass and Genesis will be ported over.
So they did say it. Where I just want to see. Okay. Yeah. The other crazy thing is this right here. I just want to highlight this. Like Arc 2 is coming to fucking Game Pass, right? Like
Nice.
It's just a shit show, man.
I
This
mean,
is just
that
fucking
would
stupid.
potentially be the only upside to this would be that since it's coming to Game Pass, you now don't have to bypass Game Pass to get Survival Ascended like you did before.
Okay,
You can now get your cake and eat it too. It's the one upside.
So here's what they're saying. They're saying that Ark Survival Evolved will receive a final update in June, which will add new creatures, whatever. Ark Survival Ascended is planned to release at the end of August. Here's Studios Wildcard's list of DLCs that will come with it. They're saying that the Island, Survival of the Fittest, Scorched Earth, Aberration, Extinction, Justice Part 1, Justice Part 2, and all the community created maps are coming. I don't know. Again, we're still trusting that that's the. I don't know if I could. I don't know. I just don't know if I can still trust to say like, yeah, this is 100%.
I mean, even
guaranteed.
still, it's the same fucking game, just on Unreal Engine 5 that
Right,
they're recharging you for.
Yeah, you're just spending what
because
maybe a
they're
$10
shutting down
upgrade.
the servers on you.
Yeah. So either way, you're still not going to get around that. Like you're literally you are paying for the exact same game.
And this is Genesis, like the Genesis that they released on Arc 1, like Survival Evolved. So
this
like,
is
if you
all of
bought
the Survival Evolved one. Like if you
yeah,
bought
if you bought that DLC on Survival Evolved, you just had to buy it again.
Yes.
You just have to buy it again. That's
yes. They basically are saying
man.
that you are getting a remastered version of the game. This is a game of the year edition.
Nice.
For anybody that wants an up-res version of it. So there you go. I don't know. Good job, Studio Wildcard.
Yeah, man.
Whew. Anyway, so we will continue to monitor that one closely.
Oh, by the way, back to just a segue back to Ubisoft Plus. It looks like it is coming to PlayStation in May as well. So
okay, so it's going.
Oh, we're jumping into there anyway.
Yeah, we're going right to it.
Oh, look at that transition.
So Ubisoft Plus is coming to is now on Xbox. God damn it, Scruffy.
I'm sorry. Got caught up.
Is coming to Xbox. Actually, it's live now. You can get it on if you you can get Ubisoft Plus on Xbox. There has been some misunderstanding from a lot of people. They're like, so wait a minute, does this mean if I have Game Pass that I get Ubisoft? I'm getting the Ubisoft games? No, this is Ubisoft Plus, which is a $14.99.
It's another subscription service being made available
right to the Xbox platform, and then it will also come to the Sony platform.
Yes, the difference being, and I just want to confirm this before I say, Um,
Oh, I'm
will
sorry. This
launch a
is
new
priced at
Ubisoft Plus subscription for. Okay, so it is its own tier of PlayStation Plus. So
so. th- I think the big thing that people are having an issue with, and I'm the same way. Like I have an issue with this too. Is like, why is this not just bundled into the services? Like, well, I mean, I know why, because Ubisoft wants to make money, or they want to think that they're going to make money. But everybody is basically reeling it, saying like, this is too fucking expensive.
it
Like,
is bundled. Ooh. Okay, so Ubisoft Plus Classics will launch bundled with PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium tiers. So the upper tiers of PlayStation Plus will have the Ubisoft Plus tier to it.
That's kind
but
of nice.
but Xbox, you still have to pay separate
I believe so.
because
That
from what I'm seeing and what I've read, I don't think Xbox has it built in to their.
the difference being, I think that Xbox is going to have the full range of 65 games that Ubisoft Plus comes with. Sony is not. Sony is going to launch with where was it? Sony is going to launch with 27 of the games and will have 50 by the end of 2022. I'm a year off. So this is already out. It is already part of PlayStation Plus and it's been out for a year.
Okay, I'm just trying.
Ubisoft Plus.
All right, because there's this.
I'm looking
I
at an
want
old ass article and just thought it was
I want to just take
from this year.
a second to understand when the fuck did gaming get so goddamn convoluted with
Yeah,
all of this stuff? Because
with
I'm
all the
looking,
plans and
When
shit.
subscription services became
Yeah,
the play,
like
you
I'm
can
looking at
thank
this
Xbox.
and going and saying, okay, like because I'm like literally reading this article and it's like, okay, well, in contrast, the PlayStation PC version of Ubisoft Plus is priced at $14.99, but up here it says, well, if you're gonna want to do the what is this, the multi-access plan starting on April 13th, the subscription plan is $17.99, and it's like, I'm like, whole okay, like, as a consumer, I'm just like, what the fuck am I supposed to buy? Like, first off, I would not buy this in any way, shape, or form because I don't trust Ubisoft at all. Like, they are notorious for taking games and fucking you over with them, even if you buy them. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
right.
to say like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and pay you monthly for like access to rent your games, I'm good. But then the other part of it that I'm trying to see down here is it saying that seeing Ubisoft as a direct Xbox Pass rival, it remains to be seen whether the manages to gain a significant traction on Microsoft consoles. But as such, the Ubisoft Plus multi-access subscription will primarily be attractive to Xbox owning Ubisoft fans without a gaming PC. Why? Like, I don't understand why the multi-access $17.99 version would be, because it's not included in your ultimate. Like,
Yeah, I have no clue. So effectively what's happening is Xbox is just acting as a host for Ubisoft Plus if people would so choose to do it, whereas PlayStation actually integrated it directly into its PlayStation Plus service.
well, so did EA did. EA integrated their one of their pro subscriptions into Xbox Game Pass. Like,
Right.
Into the it's like the or EA Play or something.
you get EA Play. You don't get EA Pro, but you get EA
No,
Play
yeah, EA Play, yeah.
into their Game Pass, which I just it, okay. As the resident Ubisoft fan, Bill, is this something that you would see worth paying $14.99 for a month?
So that's
No,
the
if
base.
like I said, I have PlayStation Plus and that's the only reason that I like give a shit about this. If it wasn't bundled with PlayStation Plus, I would not utilize it whatsoever.
Right.
I don't like enough Ubisoft games to go this route.
And just
And
to be
I
clear, like you don't get any of the games forever. Like this is like like you
as
get
long as
them
As long
for
as
the
you own it.
PlayStation side of things, as long as you are part of the
subscribed.
PlayStation Plus service, you
Yeah.
get those games. But as soon as you drop below the tier that those are available on or
Right.
cancel it, you lose it.
Right.
Yes.
So like
It's
Xbox Game
it's the
Pass.
same thing on PC. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get to
Yeah.
keep them.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so
Is this our first thanks Xbox moment?
I mean, was Xbox the
Well,
first one to do? I mean, I know that they were the first ones to integrate the pay for online service, right? Um,
Right.
but I don't know if they were the first ones to do a pat. I guess was Xbox the first one to do Game Pass? Like, were they the first
I think they were kind of
Gaming
like
subscription?
It's weird, man, but I do think that for once PlayStation actually has it over
yeah.
on Xbox as far as their integrations go. This is maybe it's just because Game Pass is already so like big as is, and there's probably quite a few Ubisoft titles on Game Pass already, I would assume.
Well, I'm
But
wondering if this doesn't have something to do with EA and them having play and them being like, no, because I think EA and Ubisoft are probably, they look at each other as competitors in a way. I wonder if that's got something to do with it. I mean, maybe
oh,
not.
Sony definitely they probably played to keep it off of Xbox Game Pass.
Oh,
If
I
we're
mean, I'm
going to be
sure.
honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely sure.
But yeah, this is probably the first time that Sony has done a more consumer-friendly move when it comes to something like this.
Well,
And
interesting.
they've had it out a year prior to what Xbox did.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, okay. I mean,
Or-
I would love to hear. In fact, if you whether you send us an email, post in Discord, or in the comment section below, I want to know how many of our listeners are a big enough fan of Ubisoft to either A, pay for a subscription service for this, or B, even like what would be the price point that you would pay for or think that this is a valued at, right? Um, just comment down below or send us an email or talk to us in Discord or Twitter. I'm really interested. I want to hear from the community on this one because this one just befuddles me when I look at like a price point plan. Because even regardless of the PlayStation, which I think the PlayStation is phenomenal. Like I think kudos to Sony on that one. Like thanks Sony not being sarcastic, but um I want to know at Ubisoft who sat down and was like, yeah, no, $14.99 a month. Like we're way higher than everybody else. That's a good price. Like set that bitch there. Like,
right.
like who did that? So
I don't know, man. It's a weird flex, I guess.
yeah. So and other news, this Bill, this is you. So Ubisoft launched
Speaking of Ubisoft,
Mousetrap on
Yeah.
It's a
consoles.
trap.
It's a trap.
So Mousetrap, it's the newest way to prevent console cheating that Ubisoft has come up with, and effectively what it does is it
Real
detects.
fast. I just don't want to be confused with Mouse Hunt, the 1997 comedy family movie,
or the board game.
or the
Mouse
board game.
or the board game.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is totally different.
And since we're talking about mice, can you move your mouse so your camera doesn't go away?
I actually just did.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right, go ahead,
Yeah.
Bill.
But yeah, so what it does is it detects inputs from external adapters that would allow for mouse and keyboard input on consoles. And instead of outright banning players, which if things go sour, they still have the right to do because it is still defined in their terms of service with Rainbow Six Siege as cheating on those platforms. So they still have the right to ban if they want to. But as of right now, all it does is severely ups the latency of your inputs on mouse and keyboard. So you won't be able to aim effectively. You won't be able to shoot with proper reaction timing. It will make the game nigh unplayable.
Yeah, which that's
for
great.
people.
That is so annoying, honestly.
Yeah. So that's what they're
worse than
doing.
being banned.
If you have that stuff implemented, you're basically a free kill to anybody
You're
that
a
is
bot.
using controller properly. I've been looking through the community. There are so many salty tryhards on the console community that say that, oh, this is going to ruin the game. Game is dead now that they've modded off mouse and keyboard from console.
It still doesn't stop them from using like Chronos and stuff like that, right?
Chronos, Zim, both of those, all gone.
Oh, it will kill it? Oh, wow.
Yep. It will make your anybody that uses either Zim or Chronos, both of those will be, as far as I know Zim 100%. Chronos, I'm fairly certain it is the same way too. But it'll make it so that your input latency is through the roof and you can't play the game effectively.
Yeah.
So-
And then
it's
so
funny
many
to
games
think-
after you switch back to controller will still be penalized in that fashion.
Yeah, it takes like a number of games or whatever to get
Right.
back to normal. But it's just crazy to think that people with like are saying this is like the killer of Rainbow Six. Like but I know the console market for Rainbow Six, it's big, like, but
Right.
still, I feel
I
like the
think PlayStation is
PC and
still
like
the
pro,
largest player base for Siege right now,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Plus the pro, I mean the pro teams. I mean that's all PC, right? Like that's not.
Right.
I'm sure they have console pros, but it's
They
all
have
PC.
console pros too, yeah.
The main ones, right? You know, like the big events. So I I don't know. That's just kind of funny to me. Like
It is.
it's not the killer.
If anything, I think it'll would be the opposite, where
Yeah,
console players are more likely to come back to the game now that they don't have to put up with mouse and keyboard, like
So
that
because
level of
it's not a
reaction and
cheat.
aim.
It's more of like an exploit. Like it really it shouldn't
Ubisoft
be.
defines it as cheating on console. They
I
stated
mean, it's fair.
outright that they see it as cheating.
I could see it as being defined as a cheat. I mean, it's just as it's more of a loose cheat. You know, it's
so,
nothing like
Yeah, it's
hold
a
on. Yeah. So
hardware cheat.
it's a
how does
hard.
it?
Yeah,
So the system itself lets you connect, like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One or Xbox Series X will let you hook up a mouse and keyboard to it. Correct? Like
I believe.
you don't have to
Yes,
have any additional
but
software.
so the game does not allow for mouse and keyboard inputs
Okay,
directly.
so the hardware will let you
Rainbow
do it, but the
the
software
software does
does
not.
not. Okay.
Yep.
That was my
You
that
can
was gonna
use
be
a
my
mouse and
question.
keyboard for like the Xbox interface or PlayStation interfaces or for chatting like in Messenger, but it does not, the game itself does not allow for mouse and keyboard. What this does is it's a dongle that goes into the console, into the controller, and then there's another piece that goes output from the controller and into the mouse and keyboard.
Huh.
Gotcha.
It's just funny to me because I always see people like bitching about controller just getting like aim assist and stuff like that when you're playing against mouse and keyboard players.
I mean,
So,
Rainbow
Right.
Six Siege doesn't have aim assist.
I mean that's true.
It
Okay.
doesn't have aim assist,
Yeah,
so mouse and
that's a
keyboard is just a blatant
yeah.
overpower. The only community that I feel a little bit bad with this is the disabled gamers out there that were using these features in a way to circumvent some sort of disability, whether they have like missing fingers or some like nerve problems or they don't have high reaction times for this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It was a little bit of a leveling playing field, but and I think that was originally the intent of these kinds of
Well, it looks like by what this
connections.
article is saying though is that it can't detect the equipment connected. It's detecting it by the movement um that's
Right.
happening. So like it's scanning for suspicious activity. So it might be a situation where those, for the accessibility issues, it might. I mean, I'm not gonna say that they're not gonna get like hit with this, but
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could. They still have a chance of being flagged.
right.
It does say there at the bottom that the higher skill group players are the ones that are going to be targeted primarily just because the movements are going to be more blatant.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
it's not going to stop players from playing this way if they are in lower ranks or not performing like ridiculously compared to the rest of the console community.
Right.
Is what it says. I don't know how true that is. From everything I've seen online, it seems like as immediately once you plug in the device and make an input, it like pretty
I mean, it could be
much detects
overtuned.
you immediately.
So I don't know.
I've not seen anybody legitimately saying that they have gotten Mousetrap activated from console or from controller yet. Everything I've seen claiming that is people that got Mousetrap activated, then plugged in a controller and tried to talk bad
It
on
probably has
the
to do with
program.
the inputs of like like detecting the axis with like the analogs of seeing like it's a controller because it has to cross this like threshold of the dead the middle and
Right,
then go because that's like the main difference like with mouse and keyboard is like you don't have to cross that threshold. You can snap back and forth like
right.
at any point.
And I know a few podcasts ago I brought this up because they were talking about launching it soon, and we had a few people in chat that didn't see this like mouse and keyboard use as a problem. What do you guys think about mouse and keyboard use on consoles for competitive games anyway? Because not only is Siege doing this currently and actually implementing it, which it's going to be a back and forth between Ubisoft and the software developers for the mouse and keyboard interfaces like Zim, like all that stuff too. They're basically going to be going back and forth to see if they can outcode each other. It's going to be Hacker Wars 2.0. But Destiny 2, I think, um, has been taking notes, or there might be some communication because it's ironically timed. Has stated that they are also going to be taking actions against mouse and keyboard use
See,
in
that's interesting to
Destiny,
me
and
because that's
they're going with outright banning. They're not going with the
yeah.
input latency. They're just going to kick you.
See, that's interesting because like I could see it on the side of like the PvP aspect for Destiny, but like I don't see it as a problem for like just the PvE raid content. So like
I don't know if there's a way for them to differentiate between
that's
the two.
that was like the one thing like if they could
But with
differentiate that.
speaking of raid content, it would like console times like raid races and stuff are supposed to be legit on the hardware that you're doing. And I know
Right.
that mouse and keyboard would it's an unofficial event and
I don't know
whatnot,
how
but raid
official
racing
or
would give you an advantage over controller
yeah,
just because you would be able to hit weak spots quicker and more accurately.
gotcha. I actually don't know nothing about the raid races. I haven't heard of those, so I don't know how serious that is. But I guess I could see
They're pretty big
some
events from what I
something
understand with the
happening there.
Destiny community.
Yeah,
I mean,
Um,
I don't know. I think it
and I wouldn't
depends
be
on the
surprised
game,
if Call of
really.
Duty comes out with something like this once Microsoft picks them up or even prior, because it seems like it is becoming a problem for competitive FPS games on console.
Yeah, but then again, but like Call of Duty does have aim assist. Like that's
Call
why
of
I'm
Duty
thinking
does have
like
aim assist. You're not wrong.
yeah,
You're
so
that's
not
why I'm
wrong.
thinking like it
the,
depends on the game. Like Rainbow Six, it makes sense. They don't have it is a blatant advantage, but in Call of Duty, like they have aim assist. They're almost on even ground still.
I
Right.
mean, the so I'll tell you right here, I'll take the hot take and I'll take the flack that I'm sure we're gonna get in our socials and whatever else. But I have said this openly on my stream and will stand by it that I think aim assist should not be a thing, period. I think that it is your choice on what you play on, whether you play on mouse and keyboard or whether you play on controller. And yes, I've heard the arguments of like, oh, but the latency time for moving a stick versus like how you can flick with a mouse. You're absolutely right. But it's my choice that I have learned to play on a mouse and keyboard. And if I think like if we're going to talk about evening playing fields and making it all the same, well, if you make everybody the exact same, right, where there's no aim assist, there's no nothing, right, you're just choosing to play on that platform, then I think that you know to me it's not a problem. Like whether you play on controller or you play on mouse and keyboard, whether you're on console or not, um, I don't know. I don't I don't know
I
enough about the
think
Rainbow Six Siege community to see like the issue here, and I'm struggling to see like the issue with mouse and keyboard versus on a console. Like it to me, like I guess they could have gone the other way and just said, "Hey, we're going to allow it." I guess they did allow it. I don't know.
They've allowed it for 8 years.
Like is it? I mean, I don't know. I just because like I look at like scuff like at people that use scuff controllers or battle beavers or modified controllers or the Xbox Elite or PlayStation coming out with their elite version or plus version, whatever their controller's called. Side of it if you watch like COD games and ranked COD or anything, like the aim assist that is in that is atrocious. Like it literally locks on.
that's what I was gonna say. I
It's
feel like
terrible.
we've gotten to a point where aim assist has gone too far in some cases in some games. And if we're talking about COD here specifically, then I do believe their aim assist is way too sticky. And it does give a advantage in some cases. Not to say like it just takes a lot to perform on mouse and keyboard to keep up with aim assist at points. Like it takes a lot of sweat. and
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
I just think like it really just does come down to like game to game of like that like balance pretty
You
much.
also have to remember Rainbow Six Siege is one of the few PvP games out there right now that does not have cross play between PC and console player bases. They're both actually on completely separate patches because
I think that changes things
console
too then.
console is specifically patched with controller inputs in mind. There's less latency naturally on console, or
Then
not
I think
latency,
it
but recoil naturally on console. The guns are more controllable naturally on console to make up for controller inputs. They're on
I
two
think
completely different patch cycles. There's no crossplay between them. I think that's the biggest reason why Ubisoft went the route that they
Yeah.
did, was because they want it to be a fair even playing ground for everybody. They don't want it to become a pay to win aspect where you have to have a third party uh thing to be able to compete at higher levels or to get an advantage in the game.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair game then for them to implement this, because that's what I was gonna say with Sin is like if we're gonna not just have aim assist in general, then you just you take crossplay out, or what is like the best case scenario is you keep crossplay but you make it optional, but that's game to game, and it's even
Yeah.
it sucks too because like in another case of Modern Warfare 2, I think Modern Warfare 2 is just terrible state for some of this stuff right now is you can't disable crossplay when it comes to being on PC, but you can on console. It's such a weird situation.
It is
So
weird. I think with Call of Duty specifically, I don't think there is a place for something like this
yeah,
to separate because they've already integrated the PC and the console player bases together. They've overtuned aim assist to be able to compete with a mouse and keyboard and
yeah.
stuff like that. Destiny is a weird one. Is Destiny's player base separated between console and PC, or is there cross play between the two?
I'm pretty
No
sure there's
idea.
crossplay. I don't know about like in their Iron Banner and like ranked modes, like if that is not crossplay, but the regular mode itself, you can play. I believe you can do like raids and stuff like that and experience content together.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. I just
Well,
I'm not like I'm probably the wrong demographic to ask this because I Bill has harped on me before is like why the
oh,
fuck are you
I
playing
went on a tangent about you the other day on stream
yeah about using mouse and
about
keyboard.
mouse and keyboard. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally, Dome Keeper
Like
says
playing
this is best played on a controller, and I'm like, no, fuck that. Like I'm playing on a mouse and keyboard.
you playing
Yeah,
like Dark
Celia
Souls
and
on
Pork
mouse and
Chop will
keyboard.
vouch that I went in like I wasn't disrespectful.
I
I was
don't
just like
care.
I don't know how this dude does it. His brain's just built different, I suppose, because I could not play like Near Automata or any of the Souls games or anything like that
So
on mouse and keyboard.
surprisingly enough, like when I was sick, I downloaded Elden Ring onto my Steam Deck, and uninstalled it because I
Because you
tried play
hated
because
playing
I could
control.
not play it on a controller on that,
Okay.
and then reinstalled it when I realized, oh wait, I could just Bluetooth a mouse and keyboard to the fucking thing, and so I Bluetooth the mouse and keyboard.
Oh my
Literally sat
god.
sick in bed with my Steam Deck sitting there on playing on mouse on mouse and keyboard. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask for this. In my opinion, like mouse and keyboard, everybody take away aim assist, even out the playing field. Let everybody play on whatever the fuck they want and be done with it. And I don't know.
There's no change in Sin's mind on this. It's
yeah.
I mean, that's
So
fair. That's fair. I'm being somebody that likes Rainbow Six Siege and has recently started playing it both on PC and on console. I'm fairly happy with this change. I
yeah.
do
I think
think
this
that
is a
you
good
shouldn't
change.
have to be able to. I don't think you should have to buy a third party piece of hardware just to be able to get a competitive edge. And I have seen enough salties online right now about this change that it it was more rampant than I thought it was.
Yeah. And there is the argument like yeah, like the hardware is accessible on the console for a reason, but I think it just comes again down just like game to game. Like like you stated, like they designed it on console specifically for console controllers and not the other hardware. So I don't
Yeah.
know, you know.
So yeah,
Oh,
we'll see how this goes. There was a announcement by the Zim dev team that they are already working on patching the Zim software to bypass this mousetrap detection. So we'll see how it works out, man. It's going to be a back and forth between Ubisoft and Zim, and all of them for a while until Ubisoft just decides to straight up ban, because I think it might come to that if they don't win the hack war.
well, continuing on the Ubisoft train, we have got the X Defiant uh, closed beta, but first time that it can be streamed. And actually kind of really talked about came out. This is footage, by the way, from IGN of what we're seeing. Uh,
Is this like new footage?
this is closed beta first impressions, so this was done.
Did they put Did they put the Plague Doctor boys back in the game?
This is 10 hours ago.
Must have-
Wild.
So I don't know if they're
Okay.
pulling. They may be pulling footage from
Yeah,
multiple
that might have been
betas,
old
but
footage because I thought they got rid of that faction for the Far Cry faction.
so the 3 factions I saw that were playable, because I have played the game. Well, I've played. I'm gonna be honest. Like I've only played a couple rounds, like because I have some. I'm not gonna shit on it, but I have some feedback. But is they had the Fire Boys, they had the third echelon,
Cloaks.
and then they
Yeah.
had a healer person which looked like they
The
were
Libertad, that's the
yes.
Far Cry faction.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
also have
yeah.
the
Dead Sec.
Phantoms.
Of cloaks, yeah, the phantoms.
Oh no,
So,
Phantoms are like the wolves from the
Oh,
Division, where they
yeah,
have like the heavy armors, they have the holographic shields,
oh, gotcha.
that
Who's
kind
the
of
ones that
thing.
goes invisible? Was it the
that's
Echelon?
That's
that's the
Echelon. Yeah,
echelon. Yeah.
that's the Splinter Cell group.
Yeah, okay, that was it.
And then they
So
also have the Dead Sec, which is Watchdogs, where they can hack devices and gadgets and stuff.
so here is here's what I'm gonna say. Right. In the 5 games that I tried to play, right? And again, I've not spent hours on this. When I watched it being played, I watched, right now you can get drops on Twitch for watch. If you watch 30 minutes of it, you can get access into the closed beta.
Right.
Watching it, I was like, dude, this looks fucking amazing. Like I was really excited to jump in here, right? Um, I got in, I played it, and I want to go on record, and I want this to be known. And if I ever change my direction, I swear to God, I will take a picture saying that Enigma is right about every and anything that he ever wants to say, and for all discussions going forward, and I will post it on Twitter. I fucking hate HDR. It is the biggest piece of shit,
Oh, is this where
fucking
this came
buzzword
from?
bullshit that I've ever seen. And whoever thought that it was a good idea to implement it into any kind of software, gaming, whatever, is the worst human being up there of the person that invented human trafficking.
So
Just
what is
saying.
it forced in this?
Yeah. So okay, I have HDR turned off on every possible thing that you
Yeah.
could fucking do. Right on my PC, on hardware level, on my monitor, I have it turned off there. I load this game up. It literally it boots into HDR mode, somehow overrides my fucking monitor to where my monitor goes from my preset to the HDR preset. Then and I can't change it. I go into my HDR settings on my monitor. It will not let me change out of HDR mode. I then go into the game. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just a setting inside the game. I go into it, and lo and behold, HDR is turned off and it's locked. I can't hit it to turn it on and then turn it off. So like there's no way for me to disable HDR. I went into the fucking settings inside of NVIDIA to see if I could turn it off there. Doesn't exist. So like I don't know how people are playing this on a console or on a PC and getting around HDR if you have an HDR monitor.
I sent you a fix on how to do it. You have to enable DirectX 12.
I did enable DirectX 12 and it didn't do it, but I'll try it again. But that is
Yeah, try it again. Look through
So-
this feed. It's a known issue, and Ubisoft is aware of it. They will be fixing it in the next beta.
You know how you
patch.
fix it? Take it the fuck out. Don't have HDR. It's like motion blur. It's the fucking. I'm not kidding you when I'm telling you this is the worst. Like it's so fucking stupid.
You see, I don't think it's as bad as motion blur. Motion blur, I don't think there is any viable reason to ever have it, even for immersion aspect,
Especially
because
shooters.
especially shooters. HDR, I don't think it should be in competitive games because that like the dynamic range, while it is nice for like single player and for immersion based, like I love HDR with Resident Evil 4 Remake. I would never want it in a shooter though because
Yeah.
it's too much.
I have yet
So
to
is this
find a
where
game.
your gripes come from? Sid?
No,
Is this like
no,
what
that's just one of that's just like
okay.
it was unplay. I mean, for me, it is unplayable because it makes it so fucking dark, and I can't like.
And you
we're-
can't turn your monitor brightness
I
enough to
can't do
compensate
shit.
for
I
it.
can't do anything. Like I literally can't do anything to make it better. So it's
This is one of those suffering from success moments where his hardware and monitor is too good and the game's nerfing him because of it.
Like, so that's a problem. The other issue that I have with the game is that what you see here, it did not feel like it didn't I don't know, it didn't feel like this. Like I watched like Scumpy and a bunch of people playing it, and I'm like, why
It
is
looks
this
snappy.
why does this right? But when you play it, it it's I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's a bad. I don't know if it's just PC. Right? This may be another situation where the PC port is fucked,
Or maybe
and
it's your widescreen.
I think it's your widescreen,
It might be
honestly,
your widescreen, bro.
so okay. I knew that you guys were going to
because
say that. Hold on. I downloaded it on my son's rig, who doesn't have a
okay,
Yeah.
widescreen.
and it felt the same way.
Same exact way. Did not have any difference.
Okay.
The
It
way that
might it might just not be for you then.
I mean, yeah,
Because I've been in the X Defiant beta all the way through since they first did it. I've been one of the closed beta testers where they had everything locked down. You couldn't have an open window and play the game, or you could get risk
Yeah.
getting
I
all
played
that
it
stuff.
back then.
Back then, game ran like dog shit.
Yep, it did.
Cool concept, dog shit.
That's
The
why
most
I didn't get
recent,
into it.
I played the two most recent patches before this beta came out. I haven't played on this patch yet, and the game felt significantly better. Like legitimately felt really good. Aside from there being a ton of cheaters in it.
were you
Um,
PC?
PC, yep.
Okay. I
Like I
don't
said, I have not played this patch yet. I also know that this is the highest volume of players that the game has had, so that might have something to do with it. I will. We can touch base on this again next week once I get some hands-on time with it.
I
yeah,
might even get some hands-on time.
I'm
I
gonna
got invited.
I'm gonna do the
I'll shoot you an invite, Scruff.
I'm
I
gonna
got one already.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the HDR fix because I want to give because I
Do,
couldn't I
do
just
the
could not
HDR fix.
and try it because I do like from a perspective of what the game is what it you know what it reminds me of. It reminds me very much of like COD, and Gaming Medic in chat had said this. Like it looks like COD. It reminds me of
Yeah.
COD before
Older
like
COD,
old school like
Black
Black
Ops
Ops. I would say
3,
four.
2,
I would say four. Like that's what
4.
it feels like.
I didn't play. Okay, I didn't play 4. I played
Because
3.
of like the abilities and stuff like that. I do think that there is there's still some balancing issues that are a
Oh,
problem.
are the healers still busted as hell?
Oh, absolutely. You'll get into a
Okay.
fight where literally and it's a quick fix for the healers to fix them because the problem with it
No, it
is right
isn't.
now.
This has been a problem that the community has been pointing out for the past 6 months, and they have removed the healers from the game before on certain patch cycles because they wanted to test something else, and the healers were throwing off the balance of the game too much.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying okay. I'm just saying there's an easy, logical fix for it. Whether they choose to implement it or not, that's on them.
Remove them from the game.
No, it's so the problem right now is that as soon as they pop their ability, they are instantly like healed. It's not there is no like ramp up delay. It is going from
Oh, yeah, it
literally
needs
you
to
could go
be-
from 2 health to 200 health, and you could dump an entire mag into somebody, and then they're instantly back to full health. So
It needs to be
Right.
like a soldier drop from Soldier 76 from Overwatch or something, like a progressive heal or something like
right.
that.
So you don't have that. This is like a 1 to 100, and real quick. So
This
yes.
is also the second iteration of healer that they've had in the game because the original iteration of healer was the plague mask dudes, and their version of a heal was they had a hive, a nano insect hive. They would throw out, and it would damage enemies that were in the circle of it, and it would heal over time people that were standing in it. So
Yes.
not only was it like a small confined area of healing, but
Which they
it
still
was
have
also a
that.
heal over time.
They-
Yeah, they
so
still have that.
they still
but
have
it's
like the
around the
an area.
person, so it moves.
Well, no, they have a throwable heal. So
Do they have a
throw
throwable heal?
yeah, they throw out this ring that is a healer. It's like the hive.
Nobody uses that one though. I'm pretty sure everybody just uses the AOE around.
Well, I
that
think that
travels
I
with you.
think the AOE around you is the ultimate though. So like your throwable is again. I'll have to because I only played the healer again. I only played 5 games, and I played the healer like for 1 round, but it was my E ability that you're seeing on screen here was my heal. My ultimate was my heal around me, and my grenade was an ability that I could throw out to heal out like a grenade.
So what they have is if I'm looking at their stats now for this current patch. So If you're playing as the Libertad, which is the healers, they have a passive that makes it so that if you're standing near a Libertad or you're playing as a Libertad, you begin your regeneration quicker than if you were just another faction. So they start regening quicker as their passive. They also have a boost, which gives an additional 20 health points and brings your health total up to 120. That's their regular ability, and that is around the player. Um, they also have the other ability, which is the heal canister, which is the heal over time that stays placed and it can be destroyed. And then their ultimate is a 200 health boost
Okay.
around the player.
With
So
So
that
they
sounds
have
like you've been
effectively
experienced in the
they have
ultimate.
effectively two abilities that do the same thing, one just at a higher effect than the other. And I've yet to see anybody run the canisters in like the last few patch cycles because the boost is just too good.
Yeah, it's there's balancing issues, like for sure. Like
I would say the gunplay looks like it's improved.
The
It-
gunplay feels really good in my opinion.
It looks better.
It's
and the
snappier. There's not as much bullshit with like because I remember back whenever it first was releasing in beta, um, there was a lot of bunny hopping. There's a lot of like movement exploits that people were
Yeah.
doing that made it so that their head would like vibrate and you just couldn't get headshots on anybody.
Well, so what I'm seeing now is a lot like, or what I experienced was a lot of like register, and this could be just because it's the servers can't handle it, but there was a lot
Hit
of
reg is garbage.
hit reg. Like I was getting hit
It's
around a wall like crazy.
that is my biggest complaint with anything that I've played with this game is they have it's only gotten worse, honestly, the hit reg in the most recent patches. The gunplay has gotten smoother, but the hit reg has gotten worse. Like a solid like second or two behind cover, and then you'll fall over dead because the hit reg is bad.
And to couple that with like the TTK is pretty quick. Like it's not Call of Duty quick, but
Yeah.
it's well, actually I don't know. I would
It,
probably
it-
Not-
it's
not
pretty
in
well
Call.
Call of Duty quick.
it's not
Yeah.
Warzone
Really?
quick. Let's just say that. It's not Warzone quick.
I wouldn't
And it's not and
think
it's not
it,
siege quick.
yeah.
But it is like if you're getting hit, you have like maybe a second to get into cover and get out, barring you don't get
But then hit reg screws you.
Yeah. You know,
And also barring you're not a healer that has a get out of jail free button.
the other thing that I'm not seeing on here, and I really wish that they would have shown IGN, maybe do a little bit better job on this one, is they're not showing
them up.
anybody jumping over fucking cover, but it does this annoying thing. And I don't know, Bill, if you had this happen before, where you
You
will go
mantle
to
every single thing.
everything, and it's like
Yeah.
it's like not even a smooth mantle. It's a mantle where like you get up, stop for a second, and then hop and then go forward. It's like
The
Dude.
mantling's clunky. I
It's-
will
does
vouch
the
for that as
same
well.
the same thing. I hate that. I hate the mantling in a lot of games.
And that's as easy as turning auto mantle off.
Yeah.
Most games have that option. I'm hoping they add one to this. One thing I'm also hoping they add to this is it was supposed to be, or at least how I had seen it and what I thought was going to happen, where the factions actually counter each other. So, like, your DedSec hackers are supposed to directly counter the Phantoms so that they can actually take over their shields and their turrets and stuff like that. The cleaners were supposed to counter the healers because they have damage over time abilities outside of the healers heal over time, or they're supposed to reduce healing in that aspect.
Sounds like they still have to balance a lot of stuff before they get to.
They have a
Get to
lot of
that.
balancing, and I think they've done away with the hard counter philosophy of the game so that it's not going to be like Overwatch where you're
Yeah.
switching out characters for counters. And
Because I just hear
it
that
would
like,
honestly play a lot like Overwatch in that aspect where you're like, okay, do I want to switch out for a counter or do I want and burn
Right.
my like ult charge, or do I want to wait for my ult to go off and then swap out?
right.
well, I think that's a detriment to them leaving that mentality, because honestly, I question like who is this for, right? Like because it doesn't do anything for, again, the little bit that I've played and the stuff that we've talked about, right? Like they have a lot that they need to fix. There's a lot of glaring issues with, hit reg and all this stuff that we talked about. So like it's not like, who is this? Is this combating Overwatch? Is this combating shooter? Like who is this for, right? Like where does where does it fit?
I think that's a question I've always had for this game. I've never quite known that.
Like
Yeah,
is it
the
supposed to just
audience
be
they're
like
trying to hit's a weird one for
Yeah.
sure.
because
It
I
is
feel like
free
they
to
It's
want
play
it's a
though,
mix.
yeah,
so
Like
yeah,
it's
it's
definitely a mix between a few.
but like do they but Ubisoft in my mind is known for their shooters of wanting to do more competitiveness. Like they want a competitive element, right? Which I mean they only
Yeah.
Rainbow Six is their only right. I'm not crazy.
it's
I
their
think
only
it's their
competitive
their
shooter out
shooter,
right
right?
now. Yes,
So
this will be their second one, and I know they were wanting this to be like heavily old school arena shooter style was what they have always hyped this game up to be.
yeah, okay. I mean I guess I worry too because like I don't have faith in Ubisoft to if it doesn't take off like what they expect it to do
Oh, they'll kill it off just like they did that BR.
right like I
Oh,
just
Hyperscape. Yeah.
I don't think that they're I just let's just say this. I would be very cautious to put any money into this game. It's a free to play game. Play it free to play. I would not put my until you know it's got some longevity behind it. Like
I would hate to see this game
We
get
also
killed off
don't know
that fast
what
after all this time.
the pay
monetization.
model looks like, how they're
It-
going to do battle passes
yeah,
or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely battle passes, definitely microtransactions, skins,
yeah,
etc.
they'll do skins.
They'll do all of that.
And it
For
does
sure.
have the Call of Duty where you have to use the weapons to unlock attachments for the weapons and stuff like that. So
Is that
Yeah.
that? Is that new? That sounds like a new. I don't
yeah,
feel like I
it is
remember
new.
that.
It's fully kitted, very similar to Call of Duty, and it's actually a pretty robust kitting system.
Yep. So anyway, so that's the X Defiant. You can get like I said, you can get into the beta. You can register for the beta right now or watch 30 minutes of your you know, your streamer that you want or that they have going on for. There's a whole list of them that you can go and take a look at. And you also get like unlocks for like it's only like 30 minutes, and then you get unlocks for like guns and you get unlocks for skins for guns and stuff. So
I also have a few beta accesses I can give out for being in it for so long. So if anybody's desperately wanting to get in, send me a DM on Discord.
Yeah, hit up our Discord, the Pre-Patch Podcast.
so we are going to because we are short on time. We're going to run through a couple of these other things pretty quickly. We'll basically kind of run these as the last couple as quick hits. But one of the things that we do want to talk about is that PlayStation Plus. This is you know we talked about PlayStation Plus all night long, kind of off and on. But this one's a little shocking. To I think to a lot of people, right? It's not uncommon that game passes like Plus or you know Game Pass or whatever will bring games out and have some go away, right? You'll see swaths of them go, like you know 5, 10,
Right.
8, 7, whatever else. This is 32, I think total is what it ends up coming out to be. Also, you don't really ever see first party games really leave you know these things because well why would you they're first party games and you know they should stay on the platform as a perk for having plus or subscriptions. um Sony is losing 31 titles from PlayStation Plus, and they are losing Marvel Spider-Man game of the you know Spider-Man like that. It's kind
That's
of a
big.
shocker. To a lot
Yeah,
of people.
it's a weird one for sure. I don't know
Um,
if it's gonna be. Give me 1 second. I want to look up something. But they've got a lot of games coming out
Yeah,
for it too.
I
Not
I
in
think it
30
was
some. I think it's 16.
I think it was yeah. I think well, yeah, it was either that or like 12. I can't remember. It was in the teens. I know that. Um,
Yeah.
for that. So I mean, all in all, yes, you're not losing 32. You're you know you're losing what like maybe
15 or
16,
so.
15. You know, which is still a lot. But I think shocker here is not that you're losing it's the fact that you're losing these first party games, right? That's where everybody is kind of like, what the fuck? Like, why am I losing first party titles? And is this going to be an ongoing thing? Well, you know, and I guess that's the question to raise. Is like, why are we losing a first party game?
Right. It's odd.
So
It's so the article I'm looking at here is showing it as they are doing a content refresh cycles is how they've explained it. And they feel like they're giving players ample opportunity to still play these games before they pull it. I'm assuming somewhere on the back end they have data that shows what games are being played and what games aren't, and they're cycling the lower played titles off of
I don't know.
those.
I gotta
But it
imagine
does feel
Spider-Man's
weird to
pretty
pull a first party
yeah,
title off of the service.
such a popular game. Like that's got to be getting played.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if it's not getting played, why would you pull first party? Like,
Yeah.
just You
Yeah,
know,
just
pick
that's
something
sad.
else and pull it. It doesn't make sense to pull like
And just to be clear, you will lose access to this even if you have it downloaded because it will no longer be available on the
Right.
service.
not as long downloaded, not if you've paid. If you've bought it and downloaded it, it's
If you've
yours.
bought it, you've
Right.
got to, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you've downloaded it through the subservice, you will
Oh, hey,
not be able to play it.
Lil Wayne's hosting a Street Fighter 6 showcase next week.
Oh, great.
Maybe that's why we're losing Marvel Spider-Man is because Lil Wayne's going to be
Yeah.
hosting that. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. The other quick hit news that we've got going on is well, if you are a fan of Modern Warfare 2 in the DMZ mode, you may want to pay attention to the fact that inside the store, Call of Duty or Activision has implemented a pay-to-win feature where you can buy in-game skins bundles that give you
Yeah.
bonuses
Quite a few
in
bundles.
DMZ. Yeah. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's not one or two, it's like a bunch.
Yeah.
And they give you bigger backpacks, they give you the ability to highlight enemies at a farther distance.
Kill streaks
Yep,
and
it's
like all sorts of stuff.
it's clearly pay to win. So you know, season 3 starting off with a bang
Yeah.
for Modern Warfare 2.
Definitely a shocker. I think this season definitely did not amount to what everybody thought it was going to be.
Yep.
I also think DMC is the better mode than what the Battle Royale is overall. I've thought that from the get go. I enjoy watching DMZ more than I enjoyed watching.
It's very split, but I know a large majority of people do enjoy DMZ.
I mean, to me, this is the official knife in it. Like, who I would not play DMZ going into it knowing that that's because the other thing about it is like it would be different if like your risk reward here, right? Like you buy this character and you get a backpack that you essentially could lose, right? Like,
Wait,
okay,
that's what I thought it was. So this stuff is permanent?
this is a character based thing. It's not a
Oh my-
it's not a
Oh my
it's not
God.
something that you can take out. Like the kill streak perk and the ability to see the person farther is a character based.
Oh my
perk.
gosh. So,
So-
I totally didn't even understand. Like I was like, yeah, it's pay to win. I mean, I thought it could be, you know, I was like, bad, but like this worse than I even thought.
Yeah, this is a clear like you get fucked. So I don't even know why you why you would play the DMZ
Yeah.
mode anymore. This, like I said, this is official to me, a knife in the throat of it. Other news, Capcom removes Denovu from RE Village, which is like Enigma pointed out, kind of the timeline. Denovu sucks. Nobody likes Denovu. I don't know why they keep continuing to use it, but it is no longer in RE Village. So you can be happy there. V Rising, a game that I think we've all played, if I'm not mistaken, or at least
I have not.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
That's 3/4 of the podcast has played. Is getting a free expansion. They're not
it's
going to
free,
charge you.
nice.
They're not going to charge you $60 for the up-resed version of this.
Right.
But it's the Secrets of Gloomrot. It looks like they're adding like in a almost like a Frankenstein-esque version or character thing into V Rising. That's on May 17th. So if you haven't tried out V Rising, a couple podcasts ago or a while ago, we talked about it. I definitely recommend
Been a
trying it
while,
out.
yeah.
It's a phenomenal game.
It's a top-down vampire. It's like a survival too. It's like a top-down
It's like
survival
top-down MMO
vampire.
survival. Yeah,
Yeah. Kind of like Albion, but not like as like, yeah, I don't know. Like
it's a good time.
risk-like to it.
It's a good time. You should definitely. I recommend trying it and giving it a shot, especially with
Yeah.
the DLC coming out. Suicide Squad got delayed till 2024. Oof.
And nobody was surprised.
Yeah. So that
For more polish,
happened
is what they're
an
saying.
entire year. That's a lot of polish. That means, yeah, man. No, you're waxing on, waxing off that game for
yeah.
a long time. Redfall also got a announcement that basically it's going to be missing a pretty key feature for Xbox. I need to scroll up because I apologize. I lost this and everything. It will launch. Redfall will only launch with quality mode on Xbox. I don't.
Which is a hard lock of 30 FPS.
There you go. That's for Xbox
That's-
Series. That's if you're gonna play in 4K. So okay, hold on. A second.
No, that's
is it-
overall. They do
It's
not
over.
have a 1080p 60 FPS mode available. It will be locked on console at 30 FPS. They will be patching it at a later date to
That's
include a
rough
performance
launch.
mode.
That's
Why the fuck do that? Okay.
It's so much that 30 FPS is trending on Twitter right now, and it's a back and forth. One of the memes I'm seeing right now is a smiling dude's playing Legend of Zelda at 30 FPS, and then somebody raging at Redfall on 30 FPS. Like there is a bit of a double standard in the industry when it comes to frame rates of games, but I feel like in a first-person shooter style of game, 60 FPS, especially from that first-person perspective, has become the norm.
Oh yeah. Honestly, to me, anything below 60 FPS gives me a headache and like motion sickness now.
You know what though?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm okay with this. You know what I know why? Because I'm sick and tired of my fucking PC ports coming out like dog shit and the console version being the better version. So suck it, console. This is what you get.
Back to the good old days, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
PC's a dominant race.
We'll see how the PC launch comes out. I'm skeptical about Redfall overall. It's thrown up some red flags. Maybe it's
Ha.
just me being
Get it on
baited
Game
by
Pass.
and it's on Game Pass. Maybe it's just me being baited by the IGN gameplay footage, but it looks concerning. We'll see how it does come out because the developer has a good track record to them. But there's a lot of people calling for them to just delay the game until they can get the performance mode
Why wouldn't you?
patched into it.
Yeah, I don't see why.
Like,
they
I don't think
wouldn't.
anybody's scrambling for Redfall right now. Like, just delay the damn thing. Like, how long can it honestly take? It can't take that long. Like, give
Yeah,
it a month.
I don't. They don't have a release date on when performance mode will come out to it, but it's really
Just delay it again.
it's a weird problem to
Nobody will be
have because
surprised
I've
if you
never
delay
heard
it
of
again.
a resolution mode being something that
Locked.
has to be patched into a
Yeah.
game.
That's funny. I mean, I have when it launches on PC and the optimization is dog shit. But
Yeah.
you know, that's
And then there was the PS4 to PS5 upgrades that Sony was giving out that increased frames from 30 to 60. But it's a weird one, man. But I will say there is a big double standard in the industry where Nintendo can get away with 30 FPS games, no problem, nobody bats an eye. But as soon as an Xbox title or a Bethesda title comes out in 30 FPS, everybody's losing their goddamn minds. Same
That's
thing with Starfield, which Todd Howard has said will launch 30 FPS, and that is
Really?
fine.
Actually didn't know about that. I didn't
that's
hear
because the expectation of of Bethesda games is that they're going to be dog shit buggy anyway. So what does it matter? So, and Nintendo is. I'll channel my internal enigma. Hold on one sec. Nintendo's not a real console. So it's, you know, there you go. it's
But
whatever.
they did say it's going to be 30 FPS on quality mode, whatever the resolution of that quality mode is, as far as Starfield
I think
goes.
it's four. Oh, well, at least on here it's 4K and 1440 is what they said that was going to be quality mode.
For Redfall.
Redfall, yep.
Yeah.
So-
Starfield will probably be the same thing because the Xbox Series S is just underpowered as all hell. I honestly think that if Xbox was smart, they would drop support for the like just take the L on the Xbox Series S. I feel like we're to the point where these devs are no longer backporting games to the prior generation of console, and I feel like the Xbox Series S is not a big enough jump from the Xbox One. I feel like Xbox is going to be pigeonholed with their first party titles into having to support that less robust hardware, and it might be a detriment to them. I think that's a problem with Redfall specifically, is that they're having trouble getting it to run 60 FPS on the Series S, and that's why they're going to be patching it in later.
That's true. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the S is their 1440p system. So I mean, a lot of even PCs run at 1440p. Of course, the hardware is more robust on most PCs. So yeah, I mean, it's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's just my theory craft on the whole thing because I find it extremely odd. It's the only thing that makes sense is that the devs are having to
Well,
make it so that it runs on everything.
look, we're getting to that half step year. Like we're getting very close to the half step console, right? Like, so whether it's Xbox or Sony, I mean, we know that Sony is doing a rework on the PlayStation. That is not a rumor anymore. That is well known.
Yeah.
You know, I would perceive that Microsoft will probably do the same, right? So it wouldn't be a shocker, and I think you're probably spot on with saying that the S would go away and it would become the X and then the half step. So, yeah. So the last little bit of news that we're going to hit on, the quick hit, is something that excuse me, I wanted to make sure that we took a second to honor, because I think it's a honestly it's a huge accolade. So Miyazaki, God, I fucking butchered that.
Yeah.
Miyazaki was named as one of the most influential people of 2023 by Time Magazine. Um, this is I
He's
think
in the
it's
top 100. It's a weird place for a gamer to be.
Yeah.
well, I think it's a weird place because it's something that has been left out of the space for a long time, and I think that it is I don't want to say comically hilarious, but legitimately I think it is an air of humor, because it's one of these things where this should be looked at as an art. It really is. Like when you're talking about storytelling, when you're talking about directors, when you're talking about writers, to me, whenever we have Oscars and stuff like that, like yes, we have the game awards, but honest to God, I think that they should be included, in the Oscars or whatever, because they are. I mean, these a lot of these things are movies. The budgets are larger than what is on a movie. So to say that this is not an influential person who has changed the landscape of gaming, though I can't stand Hideo Kojima, I would say Hideo Kojima would deserve to be in here. Like he has changed the landscape of gaming multiple different times. So
Yeah.
if you're unfamiliar with Miyazaki, Elden Ring, like that, this is um,
This is
well,
Elden Ring.
well, I mean, he what else did it's more than just Elden Ring, right?
He's the brainchild behind the Dark Souls series,
Yes.
Bloodborne,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sekiro, Elden Ring, and soon um, the Armored Core 6.
So, so there you go. So
It's good to see.
congratulations. Yeah.
Maybe we'll start to see more of it. Akin to it, like it.
Yep. I mean, I would say that Miyamoto would be up here. Like I'm very shocked that Miyamoto
I'm pretty
is
sure
not.
Miyamoto has been in this top 100 in the past.
Okay.
I believe he has.
I definitely want to, if
Just
he's
because
not,
if anybody, he deserves it.
for sure.
Yeah.
And again, I think that uh I I mean, maybe I'm a little biased for Xbox, and I don't want to take any shine off of Miyazaki, right? Because this is his moment. But like Phil Spencer, I think he deserves to be in here, like what he's done with the Xbox brand and over the last couple of years, and just in gaming in general. I can't stand Cliff Bleszinski, but I think that he deserves to be in there for Epic and what he did with the Unreal Engine. Um, I would say like Jim Ryan, but that's after all of this shit. I don't know if Jim Ryan deserves to kind of be in there anymore. So our resident Sony is like, no, sir. So
That's not my dad. It's not my dad.
So, but yeah, anyway, again, I think this is an amazing step forward for the gaming space.
Yeah.
And putting him in there. So
Miyamoto was in Time's 100 most influential people in 2008.
okay, good. All right. I'm
Nice.
glad he made it there. So, which is
Yeah.
crazy, is that 2008 and he is still making drastic, improvements into the
Oh,
gaming
yeah.
space. So,
Oh yeah.
all right. Well, that's it. Normally we wrap up with questions. I don't know if we have any questions in chat, but as we go around the horn and talk about what we're going to be doing for the next week, feel free to post questions in chat, as well as you can send them to us via our Twitter, which is Pre-Patch Podcast, or Discord, joining our Discord server, or sending us an email at prepatchpodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, let's start off Scruffy at the top. Yeah, what do you got going on? I mean, I know your new job is kind of keeping you away
Busy.
from being
Yeah,
able to
I'm
stream as
honestly
much, but-
been real busy with just the new job and adjusting to the schedule. I mean, I just finished my
Congratulations
training.
again, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
He's
you.
a
Thank
real
you.
boy.
Real boy now. So just been real busy with that, honestly. I've not had much time to really sit down and game too much, unfortunately, anymore. I want to get back into the groove of things, but I just need to get like acquainted to, getting into that like schedule and not coming home drained every night. So
Yeah, man.
we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, right now, that's
Don't
it.
go to the dark side of energy drinks. It's not worth it. Trust me. can promise
I
you
don't drink them too much. I do have like literally a huge case of Rain behind me, but I only drink it like when I really am in need of it.
Rain's dope.
Rain is nice. I like Rain. But yeah, I'm boring right now, so I wish you could see more of me. But it's been just tough to get the stream on. So I'll let y'all know when I do make like a good return though, and I'm set. So
All right. Enigma, what are you doing? No, okay. All right. Well, that was Enigma. He's, gonna nurse his migraine. Bill, what you got going on for the next week?
I've been having the itch to do challenge runs again, so I'm going to be starting those up. I'm playing through Near Automata right now, just casually. But I'm also going to do some Resident Evil 4 challenge runs. I'm going to do the S plus professional run, which is effectively a speed run on the hardest difficulty. I think it's 5.5 hours to complete the game in less than 15 saves, or 15 saves or less is
Nice.
the achievement for that. And then after I do that, I'm going to do a knife only run because
Nice.
I hate myself and
Oh,
need to express that to the world.
but you can parry now with a knife, right?
You can
You like
parry
it?
now with a knife. There's an
That's cool.
indestructible knife that you can unlock. So durability is not going to be a factor, but pain, not
Yeah.
just pain, but brutal pain.
How much do you hate yourself
On professional mode, by the way. Knife only on professional mode.
Nice.
to
No
do the
hit.
knife that does have degradation, and that's the only knife that you can use?
I don't know if it's even possible
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, be
doing
the
it that
first.
way.
Be the first.
I
Bill.
think it might be possible, but you would have to resource manage like extremely tightly to make
You
it
do you
possible.
doing no hit knife?
I'm not that good, man. I'm not that good.
He doesn't hate himself that much.
I did try. Sekiro almost broke me in that regard, so don't put it past me.
Yeah.
I do the opposite. I go for all hits, like just getting hit. That's what I try to do. Just getting
Yeah.
as much hits as I can.
Fair.
Yeah. So, honestly, right now for me, I've been enjoying Battlefield 2042. I've jumped back into that. I needed a shooter or something to kind of take my mind off of the long wait that I have for Diablo 4. I am in a space right now where that game grabbed my soul, put its hooks inside of me. Lilith stepped on my head and told me to call her mommy, and I said okay.
So the butcher hooked you, and then Lilith took over.
Oh yes, and I am deep waiting for that game. So I don't know. I mean, right now it's just kind of one of those things where as games pop up, I kind of jump in and play them. So very much in the variety sense. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been. I don't really have anything on my horizon that I am like super excited for. Maybe Dead Island 2. Coming in. That's actually next week. It will launch. So we'll maybe jump into that whenever it launches.
Maybe Wall World 2.
Wall World 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, so that's the show, guys. Thank you all so much for being here again. This is your first episode. Welcome in. Hit that subscribe button and hit that follow button over on Twitch. Make sure that you come and check us out every single week. We do this live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time across YouTube and Twitch. Make sure too that you go and follow us on Spotify or your favorite podcast app over at anchor.fm/prepatch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter. You can email us. You can get into Discord. Hit all of us up on our own channels. I mean, good Lord, there's plenty of ways to come and check us out. And you have 80 other episodes to go and listen to. Also, big kudos and shout out to Bill, Enigma, and his Scruffy for doing some amazing shorts and keeping our content up on the daily side. Without that, we wouldn't be growing as much as we are. So huge kudos to them. But yeah, guys, it's been an amazing cast. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out. We will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Doses.
Be great if my Steam Deck worked.